Hello, and welcome back to Roll For It, where YouTubers and streamers get to go play some lovely tabletop RPGs. Of course, today we are playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, Silence of Shadows, where nothing interesting at all happened last time. No plots started to come to a head or anything like that. Everything is fine and hunky-dory. Right, okay, perfect, excellent.
That's what I like to say. Everything's fine. You're doing great. You've not fucked up once.
But when you say it, we don't know if any of it's true or not.
That's not my problem.
God damn it. Okay, right. There are no supports today. NPC name post for March is live, so if you are at the correct tier to be able to submit names on the NPC name post on Patreon, go do it, because we can then kill you off. Monthly recap is coming soon, so there will be a monthly recap coming for those of you who can see that on Patreon. And we have an announcement that in about 2 weeks, on Sunday, we'll be starting a new show, Monster Hearts River Valley High. So if you are interested in Monster Hearts shenanigans, that will be happening in about 2 weeks, starting over on Sunday, March 22nd. Lauren will be GMing. There'll be a short Monster Hearts series going to be happening, so look out for that. That said and done, I think that's all our announcements. So, spiel, shilling, etc. Hello! You could support us and allow us to do the wonderful things we do and pay our cast and all the other miraculous things that allow us to do things on the interwebs over at patreon.com/roll for it, where there are different tiers and rewards, after shows, MP3s, NPC names, behind the scenes stuff, that kind of stuff that you can go and do. In addition, if you want to do, you can go on Twitch and subscribe there. You get emotes and so on. Both of those get you access to our Discord, which is quite lively, so go check that out. And also, you can get access to the Discord via YouTube membership, which I believe we have 2 YouTube members. So if you want to do that, you can. Also, tips and bits, they go into the thing down there. Make physics happen, they explode. You can attempt to try and murder Mathis with bits. Thank you very much, Jamea Dixon, thank you. You tried to kill Mathis, I appreciate that. You didn't quite get there, but we're close. And yeah, you can just tell people about the show. Telling people about the show is a great way, so do that as well. Thank you. That said and done. Hi, this is Vampire the Masquerade. We are playing characters. Characters sometimes do terrible things, because Vampire the Masquerade by default is a pretty dark, dastardly, and dank campaign, and probably many other D words. So we're playing characters. Our characters do horrible things. We do not. So bear in mind that you can hate characters but don't hate players. And secondly, if there is anything that is triggering for you that we do or we touch on or that we cover in topics, feel free to, like, you know, turn the music down a bit, like just step away from the computer, go get a cup of tea, or skip an episode if you need to. You don't need to hurt yourself on our account. That said and done, Mathis, take it away.
All right, let's do this. Our camera picks up almost immediately where it left off. A basement filled with blood and body parts, cadavers strewn across a couple of tables, symbols and words painted across the walls in magic marker and blood alike, all dried and old at this point. Newspaper clippings and maps, drawings and words scribbled on all of those also hang loosely from the walls on thumbtacks and nails, and some even stapled in haphazardly. But what we see in this basement is 4 figures. Ava, Ollie, Dakota, and Crowley, all standing at varying distances from a clearly new plaster wall that walled off a corner of this back basement. A giant hole has been punched through as Ollie stands there looking at his fist, seeing singe marks across his knuckles from the ward that had been placed there to keep this man safe. And beyond the crumbled wall, as the drywall sits at your feet as nothing more than a pile of dust and cracked pieces, the man known as Malik, or should we say the kindred known as Malik, stands wordlessly, as I said before, with bottle thick glasses, but one of them is missing, so one eye is much bigger than the other as it's magnified by his own glasses. And he stands there in ragged clothing, his eye darting between all of you without saying a word. And that's where the camera picks up. The rumble of cars driving by in the background, honking horns in the distance. The city reminds you it is still very much alive right now. And your timer is ticking.
Yeah. Crowley's the closest, right?
Yeah, I was about to throw a stake in him.
Perfect. Do that. Dakota yells, "Crowley, now!" Like,
Before
what
you
are we
finish the
waiting
sentence,
for?
I've already rouse checked for unerring aim. So before you finish the sentence, like you get the first part out, and Crowley already realizes, flash, I throw a stake.
That's only going to be against a 1 difficulty for this first shot because
Yeah.
you're using your power.
Do I want to? You know what? I will rouse check to get an extra dice.
Okay. What is your hunger now? Isn't it pretty fucking high?
No, I've used all but my 2 hearts. I literally have 2 hearts left, and that's all I have in terms of food. I'm going to use my focus to try and push that hunger back down to 1.
The once a session one?
Yep.
Okay.
And then
Use that nice and early.
yeah, so it's gone now. Plus my specialism. Okay. I'm gonna willpower.
Okay.
A lot of 2s.
5.
5 successes total. Let me check something real quick while you go about that, Ro.
It's
I
also
need to
got
make
plus
sure.
1 dice on this stake, plus 1 damage on the stake, so it should do 4 net hits over the 1, plus 1, so it does 5 damage. 5 damage sends him into torpor. You need 5 damage with the stake. I literally just hit the threshold.
Yeah. I just need to. I'm not checking that. I'm checking something else. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Meanwhile, that is being while I'm checking that real quick.
Dakota looks around. What else is in this room? Are there like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted to look around his maps, his photos, everything on the wall. I want to look at them.
How much film do we have in that camera?
I would
Did
assume.
you take your
like,
-2 penalty for a cold shot, by the way?
Oh, I did not.
That is the only other buffer that I'm looking at here.
Oh,
Minus
I did not
2.
know about that one. Do you want me to reroll?
No, you just take a minus. Oh yeah, that's true. You would have to take a. I'm thinking like you take it. Yeah, I'm gonna need a reroll on that.
Okay,
unfortunately,
sure. No
you're
problem.
still gonna get the +1 for damage for hitting and everything, and you have to inflict 5 points or more of damage of either type before having.
So plus
as far
2,
as
minus 2.
dementation works, no eye contact necessary, boys and girls.
7 critical hit.
That'll do it. That'll set him into torpor. So dementation doesn't matter. He falls over.
Fantastic. I go, "Crowley, where's the camera?"
Right, here.
Toss it to Ava. Ava, take pictures of everything.
Take a
I
picture of him.
will.
And
I
him
will,
on the floor.
I will first take a photo of him.
Sure. What happens, by the way, just very simply, is like Dakota shouts, "Crowley, now!" And Crowley very quickly, without even realizing that he had one armed on him, he reaches into his shirt, and then in a blink of an eye, his hand is already fully outstretched, his elbow locked, and what was once in his hand flying across the room. You see it wedge itself into his chest. You can even hear the bones crack a little bit. His eyes stay open, but he just goes completely stiff, and then he just crumples to the ground in just a heaping pile with his eyes open, just staring blankly.
I pull my camera and I take a photo, and I just take a second to just look at him and this is really Zack Sire, this feeble-looking, scraggly, old
Wiry hair.
man. I
pick him up
"This
by his
is
hair.
him?"
And I'm like, "Take a picture."
Before they do it, tell them don't touch the wall. Don't. And like I show them my fist is
Oh,
Aggravated damage, yep.
Yeah.
And so Ava walks over and very quickly snaps a shot of Malik before he is put down to the ground. And you walk around the room very quickly, taking pictures of the wall, taking pictures of whatever you can. What about Crowley and what about Ollie? Do they
gonna
just sit and
start,
watch and just wait?
Piling up some of the bodies near the bottom of the stairs, because I assume we'll want to get rid of the evidence.
yep. And I'd like to take his eyes. Can I do that?
You're welcome to.
Great, cool. He's not gonna scream.
No.
I pluck them both right out.
And so while that's happening, we see Dakota straddle over him as he's pulled out of the room and then drop to her knees very quickly, plucking the glasses off of him. Does Dakota even care to maintain the glasses? She hook them over her shoulder.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so you throw them over your shoulder. You can hear the plastic collide with the concrete of the wall and then hit the ground. Crowley and Ollie, as you're moving things, you can Ollie, it goes whizzing by your head for a moment, and you see the glasses just hit the ground. Meanwhile, Dakota, you just take your 2 fingers, claws long enough as they are, and you just kind of reach in, just grab one tightly and pop it, and it just pulls out. And as it plucks out, the whole eye stem is attached, and you kind of have to just give it a hard yank. And with a lot of spatter of fluids and blood, one eyeball comes loose. Whatever you do with it is your decision. There's still a second one that has to get
toss
taken
an eye.
care of.
It's second eye. Yeah, I'm
And so
taking
you
both of them.
push the glasses up. No, the glass is already being pushed and gone. You reach into the next eye socket. You pinch very tightly, and you pull the first resistance, getting it out of the eye socket itself, and then the rest of the way, ripping it from the skull, and then hurling it over your shoulder.
Great.
It lands with a squish and squelch. Just
I hurl him over my shoulder.
up he goes. Meanwhile, Crowley and Ollie, you've piled the 3 bodies that are down. 4 bodies, right? That are down here at the bottom of the stairs. And Ava, at this point, you take your last picture.
Okay. And I just want to like glance over everything in his room.
You
and
have
just
approximately 5 minutes left.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going to take that time to look. Unless like if
What are you
somebody
trying
wants
to
to
do?
drag me, I want to look at all of
We're
his
gonna have to make a couple trips with bodies.
I want to look at his stuff and just see what he has.
You are
like,
welcome
what,
to make a wits awareness with how very little time you have here. You don't have enough
Yeah.
time to like heavily start exploring through this stuff.
Does he have, like, a
Who's
file cabinet
taking
or
the
anything?
bodies? Sorry, Ollie?
Does he have like a file cabinet or anything like that?
It does not look like it. Absolutely
No.
not. It is a scatter of
Scattered
papers.
everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
those text-
I'll help. Alexander will see that like Ava's trying to go through stuff, and there's a lot of stuff to go through, and that the bodies don't need 3 people when we've got 2 exceptionally strong people.
Yep.
So Crowley's gonna walk over towards Ava and be like, "Do you need some help?"
yes, anything you find that seems interesting, or just take it. Just
Right.
grab it.
You are welcome to make a wits awareness roll as well. Ollie and Dakota, you each take 2 bodies apiece, comfortably, more or less. Getting up the stairwell is narrow. Doing more than that is going to be kind of a tight fit and slow you down. But one over each shoulder, and the 2 of you can start hauling the 4 up the stairs very quickly. As you make your way up the stairs, the engine of the van is still rumbling. Grant has not left yet. However, wits awareness, the both of you.
I did want to, before I pick up the bodies, grab her glasses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Three successes.
3 successes.
You both hear Grant speaking to somebody outside. It sounds hurried and almost panicked. No, you just hear him like, no, you don't understand. No. I heard the glass breaking. I came over to investigate. I already called the cops. You don't. And he's having a clear argument with somebody outside.
Is he in the van? In the front? He's near the front.
No, you don't see. The van is still where it is. The engine is still running, but his voice isn't coming from the van itself. He's clearly outside, a few feet away from the van.
Quick, we gotta dump the bodies.
I'm going to obfuscate,
You dropping the bodies are just on the ground for right now?
and I'm gonna go with unseen. Get outside.
Are you using any of the ones that require a rouse check?
Yeah.
Okay, rouse me.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
your hand
quietly
goes
put
up.
the bodies in the van while Ollie does
Dex
his
stealth check
invisibility.
while you do that.
Yeah.
Ollie, I'm assuming you left the bodies on the you put them on the
I just- I
floor in the
dropped them.
building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go unseen, and
So
I'm just
you
gonna walk
making
right
your way outside. Can you don't have to make me a Dex stealth check as you just simply step out the door, and you can actually see maybe like 2 feet from the van. He's having a very panicked conversation with the security guard that you saw drive around to the front of the building when you first arrived.
4.
Successes, you very quietly lean one in, and then Malik's body on top of it almost slips for a second, but you're good, and you like gently place it. Now you can get the 2 bodies that Ollie left behind and do it again.
I gotta get 2 more bodies.
Yeah, so
There were
you're gonna
6 of them, right?
There were 6 of them, but Ollie put his 2 on the ground as well as he went outside.
Oh
so you
god, yeah. Okay.
So basically Dex stealth for every pair of 2 that you want to put in there. Just give me one more.
Okay.
Ollie,
move up behind him, and
you very quickly move up behind him, and you can see he's actually has his cell phone out. And you're not sure if he's called anybody. You don't hear a voice on the other end easily, but you can see that he's holding his cell phone. And
3.
Grant, at this point, when you reach up behind him, you see Grant look very like he dashes a glance over at the van, looks at the guy, and he's clearly weighing something.
well, I imagine this is probably where I become visible to Grant because I'm
Well,
taking.
I mean, if you're about to do something, yeah. So go ahead and make your roll. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna hand up over mouth, and then the other hand around the neck. I'm gonna choke him out.
Okay. Go ahead and it's gonna be against you can go and make me your strength brawl roll. Your potence is no longer active.
Okay.
I'm assuming you don't want to activate it just to choke a dude out.
7 successes.
Oh, Jesus. He's going to get a roll, but he's not going to get much here.
Nice.
Hey, you still choke him out. You wrap your, you know, again, like you said, you kind of become visible to Grant, and to Grant, it's not like you like into existence. You're just suddenly there, and as you're there, your arm's already halfway around this dude's neck before you lock it into place. That's what makes you fully visible, and you keep his mouth shut. His eyes go wide. He drops the phone onto the ground, and Grant reactively just stomps on it with his right foot, and then looks up to you, and then jogs back to the car as you finish choking the dude out. As he taps and tries really hard to just pull your arm up, and then limp.
Is this vehicle like a cop car?
No, it's a little security like car with the yellow lights at the top, and it says security on the
Oh my
side.
god.
I'm gonna quickly
You look
look
at he has
there.
no gun on him at all.
Is there a camera in his car at all?
It's not super close. It's you've got to walk like a good 5 to 10 feet. But if you go over that way, there is a dashboard camera, but the car was facing to the front clearly because remember he drove around the corner.
Yeah.
And it looks like he backed up and then got out of the car and walked over this way.
I'm still gonna snatch it out.
That's fine. You reach in and you just grab the dash cam. You can even reach in and grab and just rip apart the dashboard and rip out whatever you think is unnecessary at that point. Just looks like a smash and grab at that with that. Dakota, easily another couple bodies get laid in. As you lay those 2 bodies in, you look over and you see Ollie's in the security car, and you can just see him like just ripping shit out.
Okay, cool.
Meanwhile, Ava, the both of you down in the basement making those quick rolls to see if you notice anything, like you said, of importance of some sort. Nothing sticks out of immediacy. You would need a lot more time to go through this. So you're hoping that the pictures you take will be enough to study at some later date. 3 successes is definitely not something to like is not a bad roll, just in the current circumstances with the current time.
Yeah, I think Ava just gets overwhelmed for a moment looking at everything and just is like, oh, damn it, let's just go. Let's go. And yeah, she'll just leave.
Both
at
of you
that
scurry
point.
up the
Grab
stairs.
Crowley.
I'll grab anything that's not like nailed down quickly and anything that looks too suspicious. Because like if cops gonna come past here, don't want them finding weird ritual sacrifice parts.
Sure. You grab it. You grab what you can. You make a mess of what you can't, and you do your best to just kind of do what you can to cover this. At the very least, you know, all the kindred here know that even if things go awry and the Camarilla finds out, this is not your breach of the Masquerade. This was not your haven. This was not your lab. So if you're stressed, you know, out of game, that if the Cam find out about this place and you're going to be in trouble, that should not be the case. If it is
but we're
something
gonna try and be
horribly
professional
wrong.
about this.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
we can
course.
try.
I'm just saying, I don't want the paranoia sitting over you that you left a haven that wasn't yours completely intact. If that was the worry, regardless, you grab what you can. You make a disaster of what you can't. You hurry up the stairs as Dakota's lowering another pair, leaving just a singular pair of corpses. Ollie and Ollie having made his way back to the van at this point, with a very quick wrapping up of the bodies. Everybody can get their bodies in the van. Then you hear the back door shut. Grant just jumps into the driver's seat
Can
and
we
looks
wait long enough
back.
to get the last 2 bodies? Because you said there were 2 more, right?
I was saying
got
the
them.
last 2 get
Oh, okay.
piled in,
Sorry.
and then Grant gets into the driver's seat, looks back at all of you as you're all piling. He's like, "Yeah, we good, boss."
And curious, is this vehicle like completely full now? I imagine. It's
Oh
like
yeah, oh it's packed.
boxes.
Oh, it's
Is it?
packed.
I'm gonna
Okay.
shut her up the door, and all of the added weight, this thing's gonna sag. It might fucking bottom out.
Oh,
I'll
it's
just
absolutely
sag.
going to sag.
Oh no,
I'm-
Transivan can take this much weight. The volume is more the issue. Like we're gonna be lying on bodies really high up.
And it will still sag a bit. There's still 7. There's still
Okay.
4 kindred plus 7 human bodies in this thing.
Is there like a? I'm guessing there are corpses downstairs. So there's like a blanket that would cover like bodies and such. Anything like that?
Oh, you want like a
medical lab?
tarp or something?
Yeah.
A tarp would have been easy to find. Yeah.
Okay. Cover the bodies.
Oh, in the van?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you rip a tarp off of one of the slabs that had like body parts and dried blood on it, and you bring it upstairs, and you kind of like huck it over the pile of bodies as best you can.
Yeah.
This blue plastic tarp crinkles over it.
The blue
Okay.
plastic tarp with dried blood on it, covering the bodies.
Yeah. Oh, you know.
I'm sewers. I'll shut up the van behind them and tell them to be on their way unless somebody wants to run with me through the sewers.
Right, where are we going?
Go to. I would say.
Far.
We need to take him somewhere.
I don't mind mine.
No, we already talked about that. Bar 2. We've already been there with one prisoner. We can take him to the boat.
To the boat. I vote.
That was rhyming. I like that. All right, we'll do that then.
I hop out of the van as well, and I go, I'm gonna go with Ollie. And what were you saying, Mathis? Because I know I heard my name.
I sent you a message on Discord, but you're fine.
Oh, okay.
You can get him there to the boat.
He can drive to the boat.
Yeah.
Mostly directions. I wasn't sure if they were familiar with it.
It's got like seats in the front for 3 people in a transit like this, so like me and Ava and Greg can
bucket
drive
seat.
easy. Yeah.
All right. This is where the coterie will split temporarily, if only to remain safe. Dakota and Ollie will find a nearby manhole cover, which is not difficult to find, and slip into the sewers, while while Crowley and Ava stay in the transit van and head to Northerly Isle, looking to head to Dakota's boat.
I warned Grant to take the long way round and not go straight through Chinatown, because he doesn't necessarily know that.
As long as you give him those instructions, he is happy to listen. He will head up through the Lower West Side, then take a right after he passes the 290 into downtown Chicago, and then go straight to the Northerly Isle via that route. And he's easy enough to take care of it. However, we're going to shift for a moment here as things kind of, the tenseness comes up as you drive away from your job. A job well done, well prepared, and relatively smooth, all things considered. Ollie and Dakota, you can hear the manhole being covered as Ollie lowers himself in last, as he always does. The moonlight gets cut out, and the two of you find yourselves in the sewer, making your way down toward Northerly Isle. It's going to be a bit of a walk, but with the labyrinth at his disposal and a few shortcuts that he knows through it, he can lead Dakota there and get there relatively shortly after the van should arrive, maybe within 30 minutes to an hour.
All right.
Well, I'll tell Dakota that I'm going to run her through something that I've not showed anyone yet, and that she is not to let go of my code. That if we get separated, it could be real bad.
Okay. At that, you watch my eyes go from kind of a yellowish tone to like a red in the night as I put Eyes of the Beast on, because now I'm worried I need to be able to see where the fuck I'm going.
The entirety of the sewer, while it was well lit enough for you to navigate, as your eyes go red and you take in all the light that your pupils can, this place just illuminates to you. It's mostly black and white, but you can see details. And Ollie leads you not too far down a couple of twisting halls here and there until he eventually gets to what looks like a wall. Can I get a perception check from you, Dakota, alone?
Okay,
Wits
what's
awareness.
awareness it is. I'm speaking Mathis now.
Yeah.
3 successes.
It takes you a minute. It's not immediately apparent to Dakota, but as she looks through her now black and white vision, she can actually see the brick. There's a small outline, an outlaying of brick that's color is just barely different from the rest of it all. It's slightly darker, slightly richer in tone, and you might not even be able to tell if it wasn't for your enhanced vision giving you just that much more detail in your imagery. And Ollie walks up to it. He places his 2 hands on it, and with 2 very gentle pushes, or what look like gentle pushes, dust cracks from the wall and falls to the ground. You can hear it scattering across the puddles of sewer water and concrete. And from the right side, it swings inward. This brick secret door of this wall creaks in and scrapes along more concrete, allowing into a passage that, even with your dark vision, leads to nothing in particular but a dark hallway. Ollie actually has to crouch a bit to fit through here.
What
No
is this
noise.
place?
This is a big secret. It's old Chicago. No noise. Just hold on, and we'll get there much faster.
Okay.
Continuing the walk as you cling to his jacket, you push into this dark hall, and Ollie turns around to shut that brick door behind you, truly locking out any light, at least at this point. And he leads you in the pitch dark for what seems like minutes, over an hour, 5 minutes. You're not sure. It's certainly confusing. You're not sure if you've circled this place because that wall looks very familiar, but you don't think there was that graffiti on the wall behind you last time. Doesn't matter. Trust Ollie. He'll lead you. And eventually light does re-greet the both of you. For you, Ollie, it's in a familiar yet obviously strange place. Every time you enter this place, it's not the same spot. You simply follow the symbols that you were taught to follow and nothing more. And every time you re-enter down here, it always looks, feels, and maybe even is different. Dakota, from you as you walk into this place, What you're greeted with is almost mystifying, certainly awe-inspiring, but maybe not something that she hasn't seen before in a big city. You see ruins of other buildings, a city underneath the city, multiple story buildings lacking a roof, having been brought down about halfway across, crumbled in a diagonal fashion, busted doors lying in the floor, concrete walls and brick walls that press up against each other in an unnatural manner. And across all of it, graffiti of varying kinds. Most importantly, graffiti that you cannot recognize. You don't know where it comes from. Ollie seems to, at the very least, know where he's going. But moreover, can I please get from you, Miss Dakota? And I'm going to need this from Ollie now as well, as you both enter this particular area. Resolve plus insight roll, please. I know, it's a strange one.
Okay. 4.
2. You both. It's not instant for both of you. It takes you walking through this place for quite a while. And it's not even as strong as it was. Certainly not as strong as it was. You don't feel it attempt to stop you, but while you're in here, there is a familiar weight that gently sits across your shoulders. It is minor. It doesn't threaten you like it did in Chinatown. But it certainly feels different down here. I can't say whether it's for good or bad, threat or not. It is simply familiar. Whether Dakota says anything is up to her. Whether Ollie says anything is up to him. But from this point on, for the most of your journey here, Ollie will be guiding you through the labyrinth if you wish to have any discussion. The audio that Dakota hears while here as well to finish setting the scene is bizarre. It's a lot of silenced, intermixed with what sounds like crashing every so often, sometimes a scream or a shout. Sometimes it sounds like whispered conversations are happening right next to your ear, and then the next minute it sounds like a shouted conversation is happening miles away. It is utterly bizarre.
I'll reach back and kind of grab at her hand, and the only thing that you would hear from me is, "Don't let go."
I'll squeeze kind of tight and simply say, "Do you feel that?"
Every time I'm here.
Okay.
And maybe it gets bored, maybe you grow numb to it, but for the next like 30 to 45 minutes, that is just your general background, is the sounds of the labyrinth and the two of you alone. I don't know if the two of you would like to have conversation while the two of you are alone, but you have like a good 30 minutes to an hour's worth of trip ahead of you. If not, that's fine too.
Does it seem like talking is a bad idea?
No, it's not necessarily it's a bad idea. I mean,
Like we're not in
Dakota
danger necessarily?
You're always in danger, is the thing. And,
Okay,
and the labyrinth is a mystery. And what Ollie knows, as far as Ollie has assumed, and he doesn't know this, is that while in the labyrinth, unless you know what you're doing, you're going to get lost. So only those who really know the labyrinth in some fashion can navigate it. Ollie just knows the basics, but it's up to Dakota. It doesn't feel like you're being threatened. It just feels uncomfortable. It's a familiar feeling. You just don't know how to place it. And I know it's kind of confusing, but that's the point. the familiar feeling is very bizarre.
I imagine that this is where, Snitch gave me all of the rundown on this.
Yep, you've met Snitch here a couple of times in the past, actually. He's the one he's the one that introduced you to the labyrinth, guided you through it for the very first time, and told you of the basic warnings of this place.
Dakota just says, "How did you find this place? Why?"
It's a big secret. Not
Whose secret? Yours?
I guess I'm a part of it. But most of the Nos know about it, since we're sticking to the sewers anyway.
I'm not supposed to be here, am I?
I wouldn't come down here unless you know the way. Getting lost here means that you could be stuck here forever. And when we go above the streets, we have to fear. Reaches the Masquerade and the sun. But here, we are not the strongest monsters. This is the place of boogeymen. Real scary shit from what I've been told. So I stick to what I know. I stay to the walls and I look for the signs.
What signs?
I'll kind of point to some of the small iconography.
Along the journey, actually, Ollie will point at one, and it'll be the picture of a crying face. And then further on, he'll point to another one, but it's entirely different this time. It's not a crying face, and in fact, it's a crown of thorns. And then he'll be like, all right, now we follow that one. And he points to that one, and that is a Glock that's emptying a chamber. None of the symbols seem to make any damn sense to Dakota.
Sure.
To Ollie, there's a theme, there's a pattern, but it would take a long time to explain that theme and pattern. It took a snitch quite a long time to teach you every little detail that you had to look for.
It took years. And it made me promise not to come down here without him until I knew. And it was years, the meeting with Snitch. He thought it would be important to me. And I think it is.
Okay.
It's fast. Time is different here. Where it would take...
Time
Now,
is different. Like,
It's weird. Move by car in an hour in one direction. But down here, well, it could feel like an eternity. Only 15 to 20 minutes have passed. I can almost outpace a car. Everything moves different down here. Old Chicago has its own rules.
Can I get a resolve intelligence from the both of you, please?
Mm-hmm.
Just see if it remember. Now you're talking about the labyrinth and bringing it up. Let's see if you remember
resolve
something.
intelligence.
Yeah, let's see if you remember something. A success?
2
Two
successes.
successes?
It's all this hunger, man. I can't reroll shit.
Oh, I know. Hunger's a dangerous game. Vague, maybe. But without Ava here, you can't be sure. So, leave it at that. Unless the two of you come up with it on your own. Anyway, proceed.
Great, perfect. Thanks, Mathis.
Hey, you rolled. You didn't roll high as I was looking for.
Thanks,
Simple as that.
Mathis.
No problem.
Was there something that inspired that roll? Like, what, did we see an image or something?
Somebody saw an image and told you about it.
Okay.
Somebody saw something in their mind's eye at one point.
Gotcha. Then unless she says anything else, I'll try to keep a little quiet until we hit the actual sewers again.
Yeah. It takes an unknown amount of time, and you pass through old streets and sidewalks that have crumpled and been retaken by dirt, mud, water, and plants that have grown in the darkness. Rats and other kind of vermin scamper around down here freely and openly. Eventually, you are going to break free of the labyrinth, and you'll step out another similar door. It is not a secret brick door this time around, but instead a hole just barely big enough for the two of you to crawl out of, Dakota much more comfortably than Ollie. But eventually you crawl your way out into a small concrete room, walk your way down the hallway, take a turn left and then right, and then all of a sudden the main sewers are right before you. You are maybe 5 minutes from Northerly Isle.
I never thought the smell of shit would be so welcoming.
Shit can't bite back.
Okay, we're not far. You think they've made it yet?
And they probably just got there.
And on cue, the camera pans up from the sewer, bypassing the pipes of the street and blurring by the actual concrete and tar roads, and rewinds time a bit as the car, as you see the van pulling up and parking at the Northerly Isle, suddenly it rips backwards and we see it spinning through the streets and taking its turns until eventually we're right back to where you left the office building and we hit play one more time. Crowley and Ava, you have some time to chat with one another. If there's conversation the two of you would like to have, now is the time to have it before you get to Northerly Isle.
So,
I can't believe we have him. I can't believe it. I know we want to kill him, but I need to try to get some answers first. Before.
right.
before that. I don't know if he's even gonna comply with us, but worth a shot.
Fair enough. You got questions about your brother,
My brother.
Saito?
Possibly, yeah, I guess. There's so many questions. Why he's even here. He's was allegedly killed by the Second Inquisition. That's what we heard.
Right.
My brother heard, at least. And now he's here, alive.
Well, Second Inquisition meant to kill everyone in London. Didn't kill everyone, so they're not perfect.
True. What are we gonna do with all of these bodies? Are you gonna take them?
My freezer can only probably fit 4 or 5. And I can't buy another freezer because my pad isn't big enough, so... I'm not sure about the rest.
I guess we'll figure that out when we get to Dakota's boat.
Really good plan. You thought you want to do with the, what the Camarilla will give you?
Yeah. Just not much, honestly. Just acceptance again, or tolerance, not being shunned. They give me that, and I'm fine.
You want back in?
They back in, quote unquote. I'll never be back in the way I was back in before you even came into the city.
Do you want to be back in the way you were back in before you even came to the city?
No.
What do you want to be?
We'll talk about that more later.
Fair enough. Be careful. Even though Dakota did, stab him in the eyes, as soon as we take the stake out, he can just heal those.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't going to be easy, but we'll see what happens.
And as the conversation I'm sorry, go ahead, please, Crowley, if there's something else.
Don't let him get you angry. He might try and get you angry to manipulate you or something.
Yeah, I know. I can't guarantee that or promise that I'm not going to be angry.
I know.
After everything he's done to my brother and to me, there's a lot that you don't know, Crowley.
I know. I'm new here. I get it. And I've also got my own passenger who's somewhat angry.
But I'll do my best.
Okay. You did well, by the way.
Did well with what?
I gesture at, the little bloodstain on her dress from where she stabbed someone.
I tried. Dakota did most of the work, but thank you for the weapon, at least. I'm getting a little better. Thanks to your help.
Well, judging by what I've seen, a lot better. Confidence is everything. I turned to Grant, I'm like, yeah, Grant, it goes for you too. You did really well.
Oh, thanks.
You did, Grant.
And then when he said, oh, thanks to you, and he looks to Ava, oh, thanks, Ava. I appreciate the compliment.
Turn on the radio.
Exactly.
We'll keep going. Yeah.
As the camera speeds forward back to the northerly aisle, it relocks down on that as the manhole cover lifts up as the van rolls.
Before he pulls that manhole cover.
Yes.
Dakota will stop Ollie.
Sure. Ollie, you reach for the manhole cover, but then Dakota's hand grabs your sleeve just for a minute.
I didn't thank you for the mask. You didn't have to do that.
I was getting too comfy. It's been a while since I've been able to stretch my my metaphorical wings. You know what I mean? I gotta admit it. It kind of felt good. But I did see red in there, man. That guy had his sword, and it fucking took me back to that SI piece of shit that took my arm off. I didn't want to kill him, but just kind of saw red, and next thing I knew, I was wearing him like a glove. Huh. Sometimes you forget, you know.
Yeah, I am. If there's anybody that knows red, it's old
Yeah.
Dakota. I probably still have eyeball gunk under my nail.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I think. I just, I really just want this asshole dead, you know?
Yeah, I really want to put this behind us. With Zach gone, let's bury this. I feel like this is the last bit of his story.
Yeah. Ava's got a personal tie to it all.
You think she's just gonna let us end it?
No. If
Is
he's
it a bit of a vendetta?
look, if he's the sire of Zach Heloise, he's fucking crazy as shit. And if you think I'm gonna be able to just, fillet some flesh and torture the shit out of him and he's gonna tell us what we want, then we are all kidding ourselves. Psychopaths on that fucking level. I don't know what we think we're going to get out of him, but I don't think it's going to be much of anything.
I'll be
All he's
honest.
gonna do is fuck with our heads.
You're probably not wrong, but you didn't see the look that he gave when I got through that wall. He did not expect me to get through that wall. He was like a scared little boy.
I mean,
He
bloodhound,
had to
right?
know that this was coming.
Well, clearly, he literally walled himself up.
Hmm.
At least Zach faced the music.
And I'll show her my arm.
Mhm.
I got pretty fucked up back there, so I'm gonna need some downtime. Something so I can mend the wounds.
I'll kind of run my hand across the area where it burned the knuckle. You said
Mhm.
the hand.
Yep, it looks like it's like a scorched, like the flesh has been charred and chipped.
That looks nasty.
Yeah, they've been left on the grill too long. Be
How
alright.
much time?
I don't know. I never dealt with anything like that. I mean, I guess we already heal fast, right? So it's already on the arm that was cut off, which was pretty fucking ugly. So it's not like I can get any uglier.
Subjective.
But who knows? A week, couple of weeks, a few times feeding, and I should be all right. And I feel it. It's a lot closer than normal. I'm not gonna be able to keep this at bay. I need to feed.
Oh, well, guess whose neighborhood we're in? You're always
Good.
hospitable and whatnot.
That's fair. Well, I mean, if you've got a particular hunting spot, that would be cool, but I don't want to step on any toes or pull away.
Dakota, if you want to take him to a nearby spot, to the south, it's not, it's not like super, super close, but to the south of Northerly Isle, down by Oakland and the Douglas area, still on
Yeah.
the shore of Lake Michigan. That's where you run with, on occasion, where you used to run, rather, with the gangrel of the city. That's where a lot of wildlife gets hunted out there.
Okay. Would there be people? I mean, I can
don't know.
give Ollie a squirrel, but
Oh, the people to hunt? Oh, yeah, certainly. If you want to get away from the shore, the parks at this hour, there's certainly still going to be some civilians walking around, some ne'er-do-wells doing things they shouldn't be. Plenty of
Okay.
that as well.
Okay. I said, well, guess what? You've come all the way to Northerly Isle and you have a choice.
He also has Grant to feed on if you would like. Feeding on you give eyes, but feeding on your ghoul is not an irregular thing. That is
Dakota
give
does
eyes
not
mostly
suggest
because
that.
It just
last
sounds
time
bad.
we had anyone come near one of their like dot characters, Dakota ate a contact.
sometimes the dice just don't go your way.
What?
I want to keep the relationship the way that it is. So I'm
Yeah,
not
that's fine.
gonna
I'm just saying that's out there. It's always an emergency possibility.
right.
We've got wildlife and we've got wildlife. And I kind of gesture as if humans are exactly basically the same.
There was a short time where all I ate was rats. So
So no wildlife.
I can do anything.
Oh, yeah, but what do you want, Ollie?
Oh, I'd really like a fucking cheeseburger, but I can't get that.
Okay, so a plump fella. Got it. Okay, let's go to the park. People still wander about. I'll go up the grate first then.
Sure. Ollie, before we do that, can I just get a wits insight from you real quick?
Yeah.
Just you.
Oh, God.
Messy critical.
Ooh.
The messy is going to be ignored for this. Maybe he noticed anyway. However, mechanically speaking, that was very strange of Dakota. The way she spoke, the way she carried herself, the way she hesitated. You know Dakota for a long time. It just seemed like there was something that was bothering her that she pushed in the back of her head at the end of that conversation.
Hey,
You don't have to. You don't
I'm
have
like
to push forward.
halfway
'Cause,
up the
yeah, say,
ladder.
It's
I'm like,
it's happening
yeah.
as like you realize that after she's like climbing up and she's the manhole's off, and you actually Dakota can see in the parking lot the van pulling up.
as I get up there, I feel like you're hanging on something.
What are you talking about? No, stop. No, we're feeding now.
No,
So she just clamber out like fuck it.
like
Yeah. Oh yeah. I slide the grate. I'm like, look, they're here.
Yeah. Look, the nose knows. All right, my gut's telling me that something's fucky. So
They're.
I don't pick up on these things that often. Just make this easy. Or at least
You've been a
easier.
bit moody, Ollie.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I just. You've said some shit, and you've done some shit that's not usual, normal for you. Jesus, you broke your own rules in your own bar.
Which out of game? Which moment are you referring to?
To the moment where you attempted to grab Crowley
Bash his head into the table.
in the bar.
Tensions are high, and I'm not going to justify my actions.
No, I don't need a justification, Ollie. I'm not looking for you to justify yourself. I'm worried about you.
I felt like, I just felt like life was sort of coming around, and when it got out, I just felt like it could be over. I want to snap. And snap judgment. We told arguably one of the biggest secrets in the city. And I didn't have a call on that. I didn't get a choice. Because in that moment, I thought I made myself pretty clear when I stepped out from telling, Miss Fancy Pants Ventru in that car when I got out. And I know you're right. But you can't blame me for being scared.
I'm not blaming you. I'm pants scared every day, Ollie. I'm. Did you mean what you said? Sitting there at the table with. Was the past 10 years really easier before we all showed back up?
I don't know if it's been easier. I don't think it's been easy. It's just been a different beast. Nothing's easy, especially if it's worth fighting for, you know?
Yeah. He just seems real passionate about it.
When I said that, I didn't mean it about you. I meant it about Ava. Ava brings a lot of trouble. I really just want to see her fucking open her wings and fly on her own, as opposed to winding down on someone else's merits and work.
She's figuring it out.
Hey, she's coming into her own. That's good. Like 15 years too short, but it's good. And it's also good that she's finally seeing that everything that she loved and adored was just gonna bite her back. It sucks. Real fucking hard, but hey, nature of the beast, am I right?
Depends on who's beast. I don't.
I said something else at that bar. Something else that you weren't there for. And just me and Crowley. He asked more or less what it was that I had that kind of kept me going. And to be honest, I didn't think I had anything left. Especially when Rowan popped his ugly ass head. But I do. You are a purpose for me. You are a reason for me.
Me?
Yeah.
I. You still hungry?
This is difficult for Dakota. The feeling of being desired or cared about or treated as somebody worth fighting for or continuing to live for is not something that Dakota has ever really felt. Everything she's done up to this point, even in her
Except
mortal
for
life,
with Bella.
everything she's done in her life, except even in her mortal life, has always been to serve somebody else. And even after that blood bond, and that year or two after you shake it, and after you realize what happened, even though you were told you were given a choice, you still sat at the end of the day realizing that all those actions you took under that blood bond were not truly your own. But here Ollie stands, 10 years after everything had went down, months after coming back together, and even out of a blood bond, he tells you you are the reason he continues to care. Dakota's response to this is what? Because it matters.
And, I'm gonna be real with you, Ollie. I don't exactly know what to say to all of that.
You don't have to say anything. We can just go feed, and it'll be another night. Besides, the night's not over.
Isn't that the damn truth? Hey, when all this is done, I want to show you something.
All right.
You know? Trade you for the labyrinth.
Secret for secret, as long as it plays that way.
And with that, Dakota will finish pushing the manhole cover off. The moonlight spills into the sewers, and you can actually get a breath of fresh air if you choose to breathe at all. And you climb yourself out as over by the car, you see you see Ava and Crowley both probably chatting with one another, waiting for the two of you to come
We were
out of the
discussing
sewers.
whether it was them in the manhole cover because it's been shifting for about like 10 minutes now.
Down, up,
Yeah,
down, up, down.
God, did you
No.
guys get stuck or something? Are you all right?
Is there anybody around Ollie can feed on? I know that's
Not
like a
in the
thing.
immediate area, no. But he could go hunting, and you can go feed if you'd so choose.
Well, you can feel Malik.
No thanks.
I mean, you actually very well could. Not Diablerie style either. You could just drain him. Feeding from another kindred, you basically take their hunger and make it yours. So you just drain whatever he
It
has.
makes him
and-
less threatening. because then he can't do.
It actually
as
does. You just
much.
don't know how much he has right now, so you don't know what would
Well,
put
just
him into
keep
torpor.
drinking until you hear the sound,
Yeah,
and then you
then-
stop.
Then he's in torpor.
Wasn't the
That's a good point.
wasn't there something like drinking from vampires? You can get you can
Addicted?
get, like addiction,
You can.
but I'm guessing it's something you have to do fairly often.
It's not. Yeah, it's not something that there's no like role to be addicted every time you sip from a vampire.
Sure.
Just don't do it a lot.
Okay. If that's the case, then I will.
Do you
I'll-
want to suck him dry, like to the point where he is in? Because if you bring him down to 5 hunger and you want to bring him back, he's going to frenzy because he's going to be starving. So you won't be able to talk to him. You could safely slake 1 point and know he's likely going to be fine. 2 is pretty safe as well.
I'll just do 2.
Okay.
I'll
Sip
sip
2. As for how it works for blood bond, I'm sure this is going to come up because I know it comes up every fucking time anybody drinks any kindred blood at all. Blood bond, because of the way rules is written in V5, blood bond is one of those things where it's supposed to be, and the way it seems anyway, is it's supposed to be an active thing. He's actively attempting to blood bond or actively blood bonding the person. Feeding from another vampire written in V5 is simply a transfer of hunger dots from one to the other. It's very bizarre. Blood bonding is mystical and its rules are vague on purpose beyond the one rule of you're supposed to drink from another kindred. So you are going to feed how many? 2?
2 dots.
Okay, you can bring 2 dots down from him as you drink the Vitae from him. And keep in mind, when you drink kindred Vitae, it is incredibly sweet. It is full of flavor. It's actually like having a fancy meal at an expensive restaurant as you take in this Vitae. It's difficult to stop, but you do.
Are we leaving the bodies?
How long is
It
this
is
going to
done.
take? Because we talk to him briefly and then do the deed. We can come back and dump these off.
I thought you wanted them.
Oh yeah, we're going to leave the van here.
Grant's gonna need to pull up and around the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Right, Grant can look after them.
Okay. Can you take all of them?
I've got a freezer. I can probably take 4 or 5.
Okay, I grabbed 2 bodies. We'll
Okay.
take them to the boat and I'll dump
Okay.
them overboard.
Right.
Sure.
Done.
Do you want to bring the boat into the middle of the lake?
Oh yeah, we are
Yeah.
going into the middle of Lake Michigan for all of this.
Okay, so how many bodies are you bringing to the middle
Us
of the
and
lake?
Malik.
2 and Malik, so 3.
So 3 total, and where are the other bodies going?
They
They're
will
staying
stay
in the van.
with Grant,
Okay,
and then Grant will take them. I will take them back to mine when we're done.
Okay, gotcha. You're gonna have not a lot of room to fit all those
I've
bodies,
got
so
a
you're
big
gonna have to pick
chest freezer, so it'll probably be like 4 or 5. I was thinking
4 or 5. 4 or 5 bodies?
in a big chest freezer if you cut them up.
Oh, if you cut them up, that's gonna take a long time.
Oh yeah, no, Crowley has to cut them up, otherwise they don't freeze fast enough.
Yeah,
the inside
you'd have
starts
to, you have to
getting
spend hours like the next night, probably like
Yeah.
sawing these things up. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
For now, Crowley's just gonna. I mean, not Crowley. Grant will drive them to your place and stay there, but you're gonna want to be here for this. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Just to assume, like he'll move them over to your building and he'll leave. If there's any conversation you'd like to have with Grant Ollie before you do so, you're welcome to. But for the most part, he's looking to just get out of here as quickly as possible.
I will. I'm going to step up to him and see if he's all right.
Yeah, go ahead. When you walk up to him, he's a little wide-eyed and clearly on edge, but he's standing next to the car by the driver's side door with a shotgun in both his hands.
I'll kind of tap the door.
Yeah, he spins around. Oh, boss, what's up?
That was quick. Hey, how are you feeling?
Awake, very awake.
Pretty alert?
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna be taking these things to Crowley's place, so
Yeah,
I'll be there, I guess.
That's how he eats.
I don't ask questions anymore.
You probably should. The more you know, the more dangerous.
I feel like tonight's not the night.
You right. You're right.
You right.
I'm just checking on you, making sure that you're cool.
Yeah. I know I'm supposed to drive these to like Crowley's apartment, but like, am I just supposed to sit in a car with bodies until he's done? And is he taking these things through the front door?
I have no idea his intentions.
Me either.
And
All right. Well,
I'm not okay with you driving around Chicago with 5 bodies in the back.
Crowley shouts over from like the other side of the van. I meant you could just wait here till we're done, then I'll come and pick them up from you.
He looks over to you, Ollie. I guess I'm staying here then.
If you are okay with that.
You're the boss.
I'll yell out to Dakota, hey, is there any place that he can park this where it's not going to be found?
Dakota, like I said, there's like a park area to the south a bit and to the north. If he could roll them into some trees, he could probably put this in a relatively covered area.
Yeah, there's a park.
Grant looks around. All right, is that where I'm going?
I point.
You point to basically trees in the distance.
You want to park it over there and come back? You can get off the boat with us.
Should I bring my gun?
Yeah.
Ollie, you sure you want him here for this?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
He just shrugs, hops into the driver's side again, revs the van back up, and he drives south. Takes him like 5 to 10 minutes before he wanders himself back over. He's at a light jog, but with the shotgun in his hands. All right.
Before
All right,
you
on the boat.
I tell to Dakota, he's got to see what this life is. It can be like.
The questioning might be a bit personal, right?
Yeah.
It could be.
If it gets too much,
This
you can step into what? You got a room or like a wheelhouse or something?
He can go below deck if he can handle it.
Okay, well then I'll have him turn around like a good kid.
that would be preferred.
Okay, so why am I going on the boat then?
I have no
Most
fucking
people-
idea, to be honest.
Ollie, would you
for
like
any
him to
reason-
come?
Yeah, if for any reason someone stumbles upon the van, I'd really like for you to not be there with 5 bodies on it.
Yeah, no, I ain't saying that that's a bad idea. I don't want to spend the night in jail and then have to take the fall. And I tell my
Right.
vampire friends killed a bunch of people and I'm just hiding the bodies. They'll believe me. He just
Yeah.
starts wandering to the boat after he finishes that.
I'll just kind of nod
Let's-
my head and throw my arms up. Yeah. So we walk.
And all of you pile onto the boat, bringing the bodies that you intended to. And Malik's still with the stake in his chest and his eyes removed from his head.
When we get
What
on,
do you
okay,
do?
do not.
Do not pull that stake out yet.
I will take
Right.
us to the middle of the lake. Dakota is going to tie him up, set him in a chair. I got basic things on this ship, right? Because it's like possible. It's kind of posing as a. What have I got?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for salt.
Salt?
Yes.
Why would Dakota have salt?
No, that's why I'm
Dakota,
thinking I
give
wouldn't. Zach
Give me
would.
a wits
Dakota wouldn't.
investigation.
On my own boat.
Be like, I don't even know what the fuck is on here.
This is not good. Probably not.
Crowley might have like a salt sachet from when he got a
Did
takeaway
it
from
go?
a burger place, but
I
Did
don't
it go
see anything.
through?
There it is.
Oh,
Hey,
there it
2
is.
successes. There you go.
Hey.
What's your hunger at? Is it hunger at 2?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. With 2 successes, you actually find a cupboard that you hadn't opened. You just had not opened that one before. You pop it open, a rat goes scurrying, and there's like a box of half-used salt, like a box of salt in the back. You pull it out, the top's ripped open. You blow on it, some moths come flying out, but it's
Oh
still
wait,
got some
are they
salt.
like salt packets or are they like the thing of salt?
No, it's like a thing of salt. Like
Okay,
opened
perfect,
and
perfect,
used.
perfect. I'm like, fuck yeah. I slam it down and I close the cabinet. Once we get out there, I'll park the boat, anchor it, and
Yep.
then
The rumble of the boat's engine lasts for a while, just like the gentle as you're going out into the center. The distance of the shore pulls far enough away where you can kind of see it, but it's not a foggy night, so you can still see it. You can still see the lights of Chicago out in the distance, but you're in the middle, or at least a good distance from the shore.
So what is the plan before we pull this piece of wood out of his chest?
Listen, he's still extremely dangerous. And if anything happens, if he just tries to pull anything funny, we'll just kill him. We'll just kill him. I'm at a point where just kill him.
All right.
Crowley
But-
pulls out the sword at his side and puts it
Mhm.
across his leg.
This is a very small space for a sword, but okay.
It's a very short sword.
Great. Should we? I should take care of those other bodies first.
I will dump them, find them,
Yep.
dump them, brick them. Bottom.
Into the waters. Yep.
Hey, who's doing
All
the
right.
honors?
I'll need this back. Shh.
And so you slowly pull the stake from his chest as the flesh clings to it and the bones are wrapped around it, are almost trying to hold on to
out,
it.
and then I let the ghost take over, and the ghost pokes a little bit in a bit.
I was
more.
gonna say, you're gonna let her?
I'll let her like push the stake in a little bit more. Like I won't give her full control.
It is an all or nothing, my friend.
I won't give her full control. Not right
Okay.
now. I know what she
We're
wants
gonna
to
make
do.
a roll then for full control.
Okay.
Because
Resolve
as you reach
composure versus
forward,
me.
yeah, as you reach forward to reach for the stake, she's been remarkably quiet this entire time. She hitched the ride, accepted your offering, and the ritual went well. Now that you're away from the danger area, without the time limit, you reach forward, and as you begin to pull the stake, you just hear in your head, "No." Roll.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Five successes.
1, 2, 3, 4 successes. You win by 1.
Okay.
As
As this happens, like my
Wow.
eyes go black. Crowd's like, look, we had a deal. She will still die. It's just like begins to tense up.
The
She's
boat is
like,
getting
and-
crowded.
In the back of your mind, you hear her whispering, and it echoes and rattles you just for a moment as she says, "His death is mine."
His death can be yours, but other people who we've harmed, I want to talk to him first, please.
And then out from your mouth, you also, in your voice, you give kind of like a, but it mixed with yours is her own female. And then you have control.
Crowley,
There we
I'm
go,
gonna
right.
have to take that sword from you.
I'm fine. What are you talking about? Absolutely fine.
If you have another outburst, I have one more chair on this vessel, and you are gonna get tied to it.
Look, if I have another outburst, I'll just throw her out. She knows that she's here by my will.
Ava. I looked at Ava. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
So Crowley, you finish pulling the stake out, and as soon as the stake leaves his chest, is immediate, and he starts to move and scramble, and he reaches for his face, and he there's no eyes there, and he kind of pushes himself, placing his hands and feet on the ground, and scatters back until he meets a
Oh
solid
no,
object.
I tied his ass to a chair.
Oh, that's right, you tied it. So he tries to scramble, but
I
his
hold the
feet
chair
are
so it
tied.
can't fall backwards.
Yeah, and he does lean back for a bit, but as Crowley's behind it, he just kind of holds it up, and then his eyeless face is just whipping back and forth, but is not saying anything.
I give him a second to like panic and have his moment of panic and then calm down. And I just start walking around him, like circling in the chair.
And he hears the footsteps, and his blind gaze follows, very jerkily, but he follows. I know, no funny stuff. Are you gonna kill me? I heard you.
I lean down toward his ear. Do you know who this is? Who's speaking to you? Do
He
you
just
know who we
stays
are?
silent, and he like looks to you, leaning back, no eyes, obviously, and then kind of just back to the gaze out to nothingness.
Do you know who we are?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess cam pigs.
Camp pigs. There's much more to it than that.
There
Malik.
always is. What do
My
you want?
name is Ava Heloise.
He immediately stills himself. The sister. Good. It's not all lost. Then it's not all lost. You can't kill me. You can't kill me. You need to talk. There's too much you
Can't-
don't know.
Can't kill you. You're the reason my brother is dead.
So the rumors are true then.
The rumors are true. And it's all your fault.
Oh, my
Why?
fault. What do you
Why?
mean? What do you mean my fault? How's it my fault? Your brother got himself killed.
Why are you doing this? Why are you siring Thin Bloods? What is the point of all of this? Why did you make him a caitiff?
You have so many questions and not enough time to give you a proper answer.
Oh, there's
I
plenty of time.
grab his head and yank his head back in this chair. I pop the lid on the salt.
I was like, she asked you a question. You're going to answer it, or I'm going to dump salt into the holes that once were your eyes.
Just give me one question. What do you want to know?
I let his head go.
Why Zach?
Serendipitous.
That's not an answer.
It
Why?
doesn't- Because he wasn't special. Oh, you think Zach? I picked Zach because he was a miracle choice. He just right place, right time. Smart. He was very smart. Been watching him for a while. Well, I mean, what do you want? He was just a good choice, and it was the right choice. You were just an unfortunate byproduct.
Why these thin bloods then? Why have you been siring them? What's the fascination?
So you can go back and tell your masters? I'd rather die.
I grab his head and dump some
Yeah.
salt into an eye socket.
And he actually does, scream a little bit. But he's like, no, I'd rather die. I'd rather die.
That's gonna happen anyways.
Oh, then why would I tell you anything then?
Choice of your final moments, not being a dickhead in them.
I can't live my final moments giving advantage to the ones who want me dead
Crowley
anyway.
leans forwards. Crowley's been sitting behind him until now, just very quiet, and then just leans in, mouth right next to his ear. Look, mate, when you die, you go places. There's another chance for you. Now, it depends how you die. If, for instance, you were to get sucked dry by someone who ate your soul, you don't get a second chance. Crowley just leans back again.
Ask your question again, Ava. Maybe he'll answer.
And you're
Why?
welcome to go ahead and make a manipulation, intimidation, if that's what you're looking to do. Obviously, with an additional bonus die for the help Dakota and Crowley are giving in their threatening demeanors.
Yes. Plus, what was that? Plus 2?
A 1 die. Give me a +1.
Plus 1? What? 2 successes.
I see 2 successes. And go ahead and ask your question.
Why have you been siring thin bloods?
Because they're the next step. Don't you understand? Don't you see? Don't you see? Thin bloods, what they can do, the gifts that they have that our kind ignore. Some can walk in daylight while others have no restrictions. They're the merger of our 2 species, the human and the kindred combined, the evolutionary step that binds us together, not separates us anymore.
I just look at Dakota and Crowley and Ollie.
Wait,
He's insane.
No, I am not insane. You're all insane. Oh, you have no idea what is even going on. You just think you happily serve the Camarilla or the Anarchs or whatever government you serve. Nothing but hounds.
Oh, there is so much more to it. There is so much that we know that's going on in this city. Chinatown? How have you been in Chinatown all of this time, Malik?
I walked in.
Oh, and you didn't feel anything when you walked in?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I dip his head back and pour salt in the other eye socket.
wrong answer. Try again.
Fuck Chinatown.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I'm trying to figure it out.
What have you figured out?
I don't have.
I'm out of holes, so I'm either gonna have to make a new one, or you're gonna have to answer the question.
A shadow lays over Chinatown, okay? A large shadow casts over Chinatown and it stretches out across Chicago. I'm trying to stop it. Don't you understand?
Whose shadow?
I don't know.
Really?
It pecks at my mind. It pecks at the minds of others. It just needs to just be quieted, maybe subdued ever so slightly. I don't know. I just need to stop it.
You had someone's blessing. You knew there was a blood hunt. You weren't stupid.
I crossed many people that thought I was long gone. I'm not surprised somebody eventually figured it out and a blood hunt was called.
Whose blessing did you have?
Blessing for what?
Who lets you stay alive?
Oh, my own contingencies.
Yeah. You ever meet a Vanessa?
Everybody knows a Vanessa if you're in Chicago.
You know her intimately? Were you friends? Did you hang out on the weekend?
He actually gives a very nervous chuckle. Yeah, maybe even if I wanted to, I don't think she would give me the time. We don't see eye to eye.
About what?
How about I trade you a little information? You offer us something sweet, okay?
Oh, but if you're gonna kill me, what does it matter?
Just like he said, the other man. If you get diablerized, there isn't a second chance. But your wraith, there's people allowed in the city now. They can call you up, and you can still act.
Yes, I am aware.
But let's see where this lands with you. It's because
Don't
Vanessa,
give them credit. Thank you very much. Jesus Christ.
It's because Vanessa that Zach is dead.
Doesn't necessarily surprise me if Zach crossed her in any way.
You're just doing some of your work. We met some of your thin bloods. And we didn't want to clean up that mess.
Why would Vanessa want Zach to bone another thin blood?
I didn't know about that last part.
You do now, and I asked you a question, and I dig my nail into his knee, creating a new hole.
Yeah.
What got him killed?
Fuck. Zach was my only success.
Question not answered. Saw wound.
That is why. If they know anything, then that's why.
Because he was your greatest success, she
Because
wanted
I
him to
didn't
mate with.
fire Zach. I made him.
Right.
What?
He's a caitiff. He was the only successful caitiff I created.
So all of these thin bloods, you were trying to make caitiffs.
For a long time, yes. Yes.
Oh, Alec, you've been such a good boy.
Caitiffs are despised by most kindred, all right? But not me. They don't see the potential in them. Yeah, I just... they are Cain's chosen.
Caitiff
Cain's
was the evolutionary gap. That was the jump.
He just kind of shakes his head. No, the caitiff are just Cain's chosen. That's all.
Cain's chosen.
Right, chosen by some asshole for what?
He shrugs. I don't know. The caitiff are still new. They're more numerous in these nights, and I'm trying to figure out why. But their abilities, their banes, their calls. This is just they have no restrictions. Even thin bloods who are special. Caitiffs are something more within the kindred kind. There's something to them. There's something more. I've been trying to figure it out for decades.
That doesn't explain why they wanted Zach.
Because
You glossed over it. You did. You glossed over it. Zach and the thin blood. Bumping uglies. What's that about? Even without eyes, I saw you fucking...
theory. It was a theory. A hypothesis I hadn't been able to test.
Well, now it's not a theory anymore, and I dig another hole. Answer the question.
If one who could be treated as Cain and one to be treated as Lilith sleep together, perhaps one would be reborn. A simple theory. A theory.
Holy shit.
Wait.
Representations of the father and the mother. Representations of the father and mother, but things did not go as planned. I'm sorry.
Wait. What was that about rebirthing Lilith?
Or Cain. I don't know. It's not even it was a prophecy, a theory that had only been minorly discovered, minorly researched. I put it to test.
Nope, and
I
you're
had my mic cut out halfway through. It's really
No,
awkward.
he's muted.
Yeah.
I put him to task, and Zach was my first step in a success toward proving that hypothesis, but things went awry. People started picking up on things. I had to die. I had to disappear. And so I did. And I'd hoped Zach would be able to continue my research with what knowledge he had, but the ambitions of that boy, they were more than I expected, so I had to start again.
My God.
And now whatever's happening in Chinatown is throwing it all out of whack. My timeline has been thrown. Oh, God. Oh, God. If you're just going to kill me, just fucking do it.
Well, no,
I failed, clearly.
You missed it. The option was between you not having a ghost and you having a ghost.
So, I grab his head and like yank it back and open the throat up. I'm like,
Ava, would you like to put the man out of his misery?
You killed me.
We didn't tell him about.
Ensure that whatever's in Chicago succeeds.
Yeah. What if we told him about the sandwich? If he's already going to die. What if he has a way of stopping it?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what?
It's a long con.
You know what that shadow is?
I've been trying to figure it out.
The
This is not...
Methuselah.
Oh, God, Ava.
It's a
In the back-
Methuselah.
In the back of your mind, you simply hear Crowley. You do not let him live.
We're not letting him live. None of us have said that, okay?
Are we done?
This Methuselah
Oh,
What Methuselah?
is
No!
in Chicago.
Ava.
What are you talking? What? I don't know. What are you talking about?
Tell us
I
what
cra-
you know about it.
I crack his neck and rip his head off. We're
Oh!
not sending him
No,
as a ghost to
Dakota.
the other side
hold
with
it.
this
Okay, you are
information.
going to make that action, but everybody's going to get an opportunity to
Oh
react
my
here.
God.
So I need to know: is anybody going to try and stop Dakota?
Yes.
Dakota, you're just going to make a strength brawl check.
I'm gonna
Great.
lose, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
What is Ava going? Do you want to physically try and stop her? What abilities do you have right now? Do you have any that could help you in
Oh.
combat?
Only got a 3.
You
I
could
wish I
willpower
did.
and reroll up to 3 of those if you would like.
I wish I had something.
What do you have? Give me your list of
I-
abilities that you have.
Sense the unseen, premonition, share the senses, entrancement, awe, lingering kiss. I got
Technically not a
nothing.
combat situation, so the others do work, but to go to rule.
Well, I say once a player is attempting to stop another player from doing something, you kind of cross into what is, PvP, or at least social
Yeah.
PvP, which is. So I'm just gonna say physical. In order to stop her, it is
Yeah.
going to be a Dex plus brawl. Because you're trying to get to her and to stop her beforehand. It's not really a strength plus brawl, but just to push her
I
arm out
didn't
of the
roll
way.
very well if it means anything.
And you're not going to willpower? Neither
Uh,
did Ava.
I will need to willpower probably to actually rip his head off, though. I think I feel like, do I need more than a 3 to do that?
I'm just simply
Okay.
going to allow you to do so.
I'm gonna kick the leg
even
of
if
the
I
chair out.
willpowered, it wouldn't.
You're going to kick the chair out from under
I'm
him.
gonna try
Ollie,
and
is
get
there
the
any-
chair just to fall backwards. I don't want to get in the way.
Yeah,
I just
that's
want to
a
be like, let's take a break and decide.
That's
who
also,
go through
I'm going to
this.
give, that's also a Dex plus brawl because you're just going to try and kick the chair out. It's not like a speed thing and you're right there. So you're just going to have equal reaction time. Ollie, is there anything you want to do? You're just going to watch this play out.
I'm watching him play out next to
Okay,
Grant.
that's fine.
Can it be Dex Athletics?
Negative because you're trying to kick the chair out.
Yes!
1.
And so you go
lovely.
and you're actually able to kick the chair and it's about to fall out, but she already has her hand on his head. And so in a swift move, as the chair goes out from under him, the head gets, you can hear the ripping and tearing of sinew. His voice gives out for a minute. And without long, the head comes right off and it dangles and his body immediately begins to decay in front of you.
Why would you tell me
Dakota!
that? If he goes to the other side, do you know how many kindred are capable of speaking?
I wasn't gonna tell him where it's from. I was gonna
Doesn't
just
matter.
try
You've
to get
already
answers.
told him.
Dakota, can I frenzy?
Telling him.
You're welcome to frenzy. So go ahead and make
Telling
me a
him.
fury frenzy against, it would be 2 because it's not a touchstone.
Is not getting answers.
While she's going on her spat, I'm going to move up next to Crowley and say, sorry.
Ava, you just watched the last connection to your brother die before your eyes. The body itself decomposes before you, and the person who did it is holding the head in front of you. You've lost everything. This was your opportunity, and the beast demands retribution. So, you can ride the wave, aka take control of it and do it your way, or you can allow me to do it, which is the beast way, which is the I'm going to attack. But knowing, regardless, you don't really keep in mind, even if you do ride the wave and you do want to take command, it's still, you got to keep in mind, the beast is in control and is pissed. Regardless, Ollie, Dakota, and Crowley all here. Even if you go ripping at Dakota, it won't last very long before you get pinned.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen. And what I imagine happens is Dakota is trying to speak sense into you, trying to speak like, hey, you spilled, and you watch
I will
Dakota.
let her hit me. If she just wants to hit on me, I will just
I'm gonna
stand
ride
there.
it. Yeah,
and just let her do it.
Do you pull your knife and like go to stab? Because this is a fury frenzy. This is not just a I'm mad at you punch. This is like I want to murder you. The beast is in control. Do you want me to take control, or would you like to roll with it?
Oh shit! You know what? All right, Mathis, we're doing it. I'm gonna let you take.
Oh, you want me to take? I was saying, go for it.
Yes.
It's very simple, Dakota. As you watch and you're explaining, you're watching as her eyebrow. She goes from complacent and focused to arguing with you, to shutting up from arguing. As you keep explaining, you watch her eyebrow just like twitch, and you just watch her eyes widen. You know the look of rage. You know it's coming before it happens. But Dakota knows this is was a likely outcome in messing with something so close to her. And so you see Ava, and you all see Ava very quickly slide a throwing knife out from her sleeve.
Unerring aim, I'm going to try and knock the knife out of her hand.
Okay, you're going to take a -2 because you're called shotting it.
Totally okay with that.
Yep.
It's okay. I was prepared for this. I also feel like, is all the stuff that I had in combat earlier still like there? Because that would be all my fortitude.
It would probably come,
it's
right?
all there.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like wounds and hunger.
Oh,
the
yeah.
powers themselves are gone. They're gone.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gone.
Then I will give Ava
5.
this moment if she needs it.
Against a target of 1.
Yeah. And can I please get a just a Dex athletics roll from Ava? If you somehow beat 5 successes, you win. But I don't think you will.
Unerring aim, so it's difficult.
Oh, you unerring aim, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So even with 2 dice, you go to throw this thing, and it slides out from your hand in between your 2 fingers instantly, and you're about to huck it. Before you can do anything, you hear clang, and it goes whipping off the other side. As off to the side, the camera pans just to see Crowley with his hand kind of lazily extended.
Yeah, Crowley's like still sitting on the chair, like feet up, leaning back. All he's done is just go, whoop, and he's just.
So from there, Ava, without even thinking, just charges at Dakota, and goes to punch. It's a strength plus brawl versus your Dex athletics for dodge. Since you no longer are being surprised by this.
Okay.
1. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you succeeded though.
You know what? I'm not even gonna dodge her. I stand there. I put a foot back in brace, and I just let her if she needs a punching bag.
And here's the thing: while she doesn't hit hard compared to other kindred, she hit harder than any of the mortals you typically do at any given night. And while she's still able to push and put force, and even you can feel the pressure, you stand ground. You don't skid. You don't move. And if you allow her to do it again, she's gonna do it again. And this will continue until either you allow it to play out, or you just take her down and put her into you calm her down and pin her and wait.
I will let her punch for a while.
And so, Ava, give me two more rolls. Let's see if you can strength brawl. Let's see if you can hit any of them. Are you rolling with strength?
I'm rolling with brawl.
Strength and brawl.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, hold on. No, I select strength plus brawl.
What's your strength? The 1?
My strength is 1 and my brawl is 0.
Yeah. So it's 1 die.
Gotcha.
So it is 1 die.
I thought you had 1 and 1. I was like, man, what's going on? So you throw punch after punch. You go for the gut. You go for the chin. And Dakota, you're just watching as she's just raging, and the beast is getting more and more angry as you realize you're doing nothing to the one who killed. And so you whip around and you see the other two. You have Crowley behind Dakota and Ollie behind you. And there's a moment where all 3 of you can tell she no longer cares who she swings at. And she just screams, "Ah!"
I grab her. Can I grab her before she does that? I'll grab her by the scruff of the neck.
Are you just going to pin her down and
Yeah, I'll pin her and get on top of her.
You don't have to make rolls. You do pin her down. And for the longest time, she shouts obscenities at you. It's your fault. I'm going to kill you for fucking killing him.
I know. I'm sorry, Ava. I'm sorry.
And that goes on for like 10 minutes until eventually the beast is put under control and you're able to keep yourself composed. You don't go back to normal. It's not like, I'm Ava again. It's like your remnants, the echoes of the beast will sit there for you for hours. But you have control over yourself. And it doesn't change the fact that now he is a pile of dust.
Do we need a picture? I guess we didn't make. Oh, we did. That's all we needed. We don't need one of him actually like decapitated.
So
Yeah, as you're going through this, I'll just take one as the body's still like going.
Yeah, we'll say you get the proof that you need, and you're able to. And you could always scoop up his ashes as well. There are abilities that can use the ashes to identify if you truly care.
Cool. I mean, if it's a pile, I'll dump the salt overboard that I used to pour in his own eye and put him back in the salt can.
yeah, exactly. That's literally, So you see Dakota just like dump out the salt. She scoops up the ash. She's like pushing the ash into the salt container. But it leaves the four of you now in this room with Malik being gone and some questions that were asked answered. I'm imagining there is like a tense silence after Ava finally is able to keep herself quiet. That's when the scooping of the ashes happened, but eventually that awkward silence does fall over the room.
Well,
I will hand Ava the can.
the can?
Yeah, the
ashes,
salt can with his ashes in it.
Oh, okay.
I like hand over some like really terrible Polaroids I took. Right. Job done.
Grant, that's what happens to us. To us, not you.
When you turn to speak to Grant, he is downstairs. He left.
Which is hilarious because
He just quietly
it's like a
left.
fucking murder movie downstairs. That's where my dogs eat people.
Yeah. You go.
It's
"So,
like a
Grant,"
hammock. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you go. So Grant. He's just not there. So you head downstairs. He's not far from the stairs, like standing in a corner in a very small, air quotes, clean spot. And he's got a shotgun to his chest, and he's wide-eyed, and he's watching the stairs as you come down because you're not coming down super quietly.
Ollie goes down.
I'm imagining Ollie goes down.
This is the first time Ollie's been down. This is where Dakota sleeps. This is her actual haven. It's stacked books, soggy books everywhere.
Maybe organized to Dakota, not immediately organized in any way to
any other
your
person.
eyes.
There's a hammock that's been made out of like a sun tight hammock in the corner. And the walls are probably splattered with blood.
Dried and otherwise. And Grant sits there watching the stairs as you come down, and he's like, "Hey, boss."
How much of that did you catch?
Well, when the head started to come off, I bounced.
Well, there's not
A lot.
There's not a body up there anymore.
Okay.
Poor Grant.
When we're too old, like that fucker up there, we did a lot of really fucking bad things. When you die, you turn to dust.
How old are you, boss?
Well, I think my body is probably the age of 28. At least it looks.
All right, so you're still like, okay.
I'm probably closer to like 44.
Can I go back to the bar?
Yeah, we're gonna turn this place around. I'm gonna turn the boat around so we can
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stay here.
I really don't want to stay here either. And
I'm just
Dakota, I understand what you're feeling.
I'm just gonna stay down here until we're back to shore, if you don't mind.
Yeah. You my company?
He gives you like an open gesture. I welcome it.
I'll kind of cow down just on the other side of him. Just kind of.
Yeah. Can I ask a favor?
Yeah,
Can I have tomorrow off?
of course.
Thanks. And then he kind of goes to that like awkward silence. Unless it's something specific you want to bring up, we can go upstairs to the other three and see if there's any conversation to be had. But if not, the boat putters eventually back in. But
Ollie went downstairs. Crowley's gonna like take off the sunglasses very carefully. Walk towards Ava. Just give Ava a hug.
when you hug Ava, in the back of your mind, you just hear, and her voice disappears. You no longer hear or feel her presence. the bonus die into health into strength-based stuff dissipates.
Ava just kind of hugs Crowley back a bit, but just stands there, kind of motionless, still calming down.
Yeah, Crowley will like gently move her over and sit her down.
She just sits, holds this cup of ashes, and just sits. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't really move. Just sits.
If Crowley stays with Ava, Dakota will wait her turn, and I will turn the boat around.
Yep, and you do. And eventually you putter your way back to shore, as I said. Once you're all toward shore and all tied up and safely docked, Grant looks to you, Ollie, and as he feels it all docked, he's like, "You coming home with me, or am I leaving by myself?" Actually, you know what? He actually he reaches into his pocket and pulls the key to the van. Tell Crowley he can drive himself home. I'm gonna walk, I think.
You want me to take that shotgun? You know.
No. Do you have a bag I can use? There's a duffel bag down here. It's like an old Adidas one that's like ripped at the end, but enough to cover it. And he reaches over for it. He's like, "Do you think she'll care?"
I'll pay it back. She'll be all right.
He just unzips it, dumps like sweatpants out and whatever else is like bizarrely in there that are clearly not Dakota's.
Bones?
No bones, just clothes. And he shoves the shotgun in there, zips it up, and puts it over his shoulder. I'll see you tomorrow, boss. Thanks for and then he just leaves it at that and walks.
Yeah. Okay.
And you head upstairs, and the four of you are together. You still got time before sun. The night's growing old, but
Right. Can I make it to the tower tonight?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. When we dock, I will come over and squat like next to Ava, like actually on my knees,
Mhm.
at her feet, and kind of put my hands on her lap.
Crowley will make himself scarce.
Ava, I want you to write the letter. Do you
To
remember?
the prince.
Yes. Do you remember after after your last punishment in Ollie's bar, we sat together and I told you that we had to have each other's backs. I know that you are angry with me. But I promise, making deals with the prince's enemy is not a way to get answers. I have taken so much from you. I'm sorry.
Ava's just, she listens to you, but she's still silent.
I slide you a pen and a piece of paper with a manila envelope.
I'll take it.
And the camera, was this a disposable camera or was this like a Polaroid?
A
Polaroid,
Polaroid,
perfect.
like, yeah.
Perfect. I slide you all the stacks of the images.
And I say, remember, flatter her. I know. I'll deliver it.
I take everything quietly, and I begin writing.
Okay. And so you begin to write. If you have anything specific you'd like to write, feel free to send it to me on Discord. But you will spend a good time writing. It doesn't take you like an hour or anything, but spend a good 10 minutes or so making sure you write exactly what you want to say. If you want to just give me the gist when the time comes, you're welcome to do that too, in case that happens tonight. The four of you are still together, though. What the four of you do afterward? Dakota, Ava, you eventually finish it. I assume you slide it into the envelope. Do you hand it back to Dakota?
Yep. I look through the pictures again. Just look at everything that we took photos of. Look at Malik's stuff. and then I'll put them in the envelope, study them, see if there's anything I might have missed.
Mm.
Again, unless you take a lot of time, there's nothing immediately obvious to you.
Okay. All right, and then I'll just put them in the envelope.
And what do you do after that? Do you give it to Dakota?
I give it to Dakota.
All right, Dakota, she eventually approaches you and hands you an envelope.
It's done.
Thank you.
Can deliver this whenever.
I'd be more than happy. I stand by what I said that night at Ollie's bar. You're stronger than you know, Ava. This end is a beginning, you know.
I hope so. This really is the end. This was the final piece.
Nah. Was it Zach Sire? Sure. It doesn't have to be the end of Zach or our memories or your memories or any of it. He was just a shitty kindred, and it was just our jobs to kill him. It was unfortunate that he was Zach Sire. But now you know why Zach. That's what's important.
Yeah.
And now you can look at the prince and ask for whatever you want.
Well, hopefully the note serves her well, and she's pleased with all of us.
I'll make sure they think it's coming from me. That way she'll actually read it.
Good idea.
I do put a hand on your shoulder.
And I was like, we're gonna have to work on your punch.
That'll definitely take some time, but
Okay,
I take the envelope. I turn to the two of them.
Yep.
you gotta deliver this.
Do we?
You gonna deal with the bodies?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the keys to Crowley. Grant said you stuck driving the ship back yourself. Yeah,
That's
it
fine.
seemed a bit much tonight.
Yeah, you really did. I was okay. Oh, I forgot. I walk over inside and I'm gonna leave my shuriken and the throwing knife out of the roof, and I give the throwing knife back to Ava.
thanks.
I'll see
Weapons
Grant
on
working the bar the next couple of nights. He's pretty shook.
I think that's wise.
Oh, you blinked down there.
So,
Reading a lot of books.
maybe.
Well, I mean, if not, they certainly make interesting shelves.
No, I've been reading. I've been reading them sometimes when I'm not busy doing things.
All good.
It's like a pastime. It's a hobby. I'm gonna go take this now to the prince, and I will see you all tomorrow night.
Right. At the bar.
Yeah, let's meet there.
I look to
You want some
Ollie.
company? You want some company?
To take the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My night's open.
There's a first for everything, right? I guess we'll.
Yeah.
Game question.
Go
Are
ahead.
we taking the pictures of all the the stuff we took, like the random investigation stuff, or are we just taking the pictures of the body?
It's up to you.
don't know what you
I
guys
gave all the pictures over. That's up. I mean,
Yeah, she gave them all to Ava. Did Ava just throw all of them in the envelope?
Honestly,
I left that up to Ava.
I want to keep the. We just need. She only needs the photo of Malik.
So you're just gonna put the
I'm-
Malik photo in there and keep the rest. Got it.
The rest, yeah, I
Okay, it's all I
stacked in my purse.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So Ollie and Dakota will make their way to downtown Chicago. Are you going to go via sewers as always? Or are you going to stick to the top and just go invisible, Ollie, and just walk your way there without being seen?
I am just not up for using powers tonight.
Yeah, Dakota would go.
It would make sense for you to be cautious on using your
Yeah.
powers after getting hungry over the course of a very quick,
Yeah.
encounter. So into the sewers and back into the labyrinth, or just stick to the sewers. You can do either one and be relatively safe.
Sewers, I think.
Okay, you just stick to the base sewers. Ava and Crowley, I know Crowley needs to take the van back to his place, and he has to spend the night chopping up as many bodies as he can with his, because do you have bone saw tools and all that stuff?
Yeah, he's got a set of surgical tools.
Okay. And then Ava is going to go where?
Well, I would have gone with Crowley, but I honestly don't want to be around while you're cutting up
That is
bodies.
not something a toreador wants to be around.
Exactly.
Especially not Ava.
Especially a scarred Toreador.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I'll
Since your little incident on the boat, Mathis, how many bodies can I just fit in the freezer without having to cut them up too much?
I would say you could probably fit in a little box. I say comfortably 2.
It's a big
3.
chest freezer. Like, how many could I get in the big chest freezer?
Yeah, I'm thinking like 2 on top of each other. The third one might be a bit too much for it to shut all the way down until you start slicing and Tetrising up the body parts.
Okay, so I could maybe
So
get
2 full
push.
bodies you can just huck in there.
Okay. Ava. Where do you want to go tonight? Pick anywhere.
the septic tank. It's not a thrilling place, but I have these photos now. And they look a lot like what Zach had at his place. I just kind of wanted to take some time to mull through them for the night.
Do you want to be
And
alone,
if
or do you want company?
I wouldn't mind company, another brain there to look over these with me if you want. If this interests you. It might not.
No, that's okay. I'll come with. I'll need to drop some stuff off at mine.
Yeah, I don't want to bring those with us.
No.
Do you want to go and then meet him there?
Yeah.
Spend some time to just kind of get over everything that happened and just
I'll
breathe
Yeah.
for a bit. And so Crowley will head back to his place, drop everything off. Ava's going to head to the septic tank. Ava, you were going to walk there. It's a bit of a walk from where you are at Northerly Isle. And it's one that I'm curious if you go through downtown Chicago or not.
Yeah, I probably would. I don't see why. Yeah, I would go through.
You walk amongst the crowds that once felt like home, and you allow yourself to become intoxicated on the smell of perfumes and cologne, alcohol and food, the music filling the streets, vibrating the sidewalks, and just the encompassing yourself around people again. These people who should be your puppets, your food, your tools, those that serve you, and yet still, while you're here, you swear. Every so often you catch a side eye of somebody. Are they a kindred? Are they a Toreador looking down on me? And it happens enough to have Ava's eyes catch it multiple times. But as you're walking through the nightclub, crowded people's bumping up against you, there's a voice that eventually comes from next to you. A female voice, gentle as gentle as the breeze. Ava Heloise. Hello.
I turn.
And you see a person you don't recognize. Someone with short black hair and a long black gown and crimson red fingernails done perfectly, high heels that she seems to walk in with elegance.
Hello. Sorry, do I know you?
No, and I don't know you either. Not personally anyway, just the rumors.
Well, the rumors, that's unfortunate then.
She giggles just very daintily, and she's like, "You're not kidding. You have quite the reputation that follows you. Seems
Yes.
other roses don't particularly enjoy you for one reason or another. You're not to be trusted."
Yes, it is what it is, but who might I be speaking to?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Not right now. I'm just glad I have Ava Heloise beside me. You see, me personally, rumor mills were never really my thing. A lot can be lost. You ever play, oh goodness, what do they call it? When you were a child. I think it's telephone. Where you say one thing and it works its way around a circle, and by the time it comes out of the last mouth, it's nothing like the actual truth of it all. That seems to be how rumors spread in kindred society. So whatever grain of truth might be buried within the Ava discordance that the court seems to hold for you on some general level, any kindred worth their salt knows that truth is probably just a minor fraction of all those rumors. I imagine you would agree, but of course, and she giggles, I would never expect you not to, since you are the core of it all.
Yes,
Heading
you're very
anywhere?
smart.
She smiles. You heading anywhere in particular tonight?
I'm going to be meeting a friend a bit later, but
Well, she
Right now.
smiles. How about a new friend tonight instead? She makes an obvious kind of look around. There are many, many, many mortals and many, many, many clubs. You certainly haven't been to all of them.
yes, and it's been quite a while since I've been around these parts.
Not only has it
I-
been quite a while since you've been around these parts, when was the last time you went into a bar that didn't smell like piss coming out of the men's bathroom? When was the last time you stepped into an area that had multiple floors for VIPs like you and myself, and drinks that would cost more than most of these people could afford, but we'll have on the house because we're just so beautiful?
It feels like ages, but
How about we change that ages into now? Let's go have a drink, get away from the prying eyes of the rose garden, stay in downtown and have a good night. She extends her hand. You can call me Rose.
Ava just kind of looks around, sees if she can get any people, any snide looks at her, and
Even if you don't necessarily, Ava is convinced she does.
yes, that and she'll take her hand.
And she gently takes it, cold hand in cold hand, and she interlocks your arms. She gently brushes your hair off your shoulder to fall behind your shoulders elegantly, and she looks you up and down and just smiles. You are as beautiful as they say, if not more so. Come. No business tonight, no government nonsense. Let's just give you the night all toreadors deserve. And she walks you off, and you disappear into the crowd. And as we hear the music and the chatter get louder and louder, and the camera pulls above it all, and it pans to the sky, we will cut to black and go to break. And we'll return shortly.
Okay, we're going to go to an 8-minute break. Feel free to enjoy some fan art. And when we get back, we'll find out what Crowley does when he gets stood up by Ava at a septic tank.
I'm sorry, Crowley. You got
Fine,
stood
I
up.
was just going to hang out at a septic tank anyway.
Oh, Crowley.
Weeps like a sad boy.
Important to note, because I know you all heard a very familiar name, the description I gave for this person calling themselves Rose and the description that I gave to Crowley for the person calling themselves Rose
Different,
well,
right?
are different. They're a very
They were very different.
There's similarities, but they're different. They're different.
There are too many people called Rose. It's awful.
Yeah,
There's at
because
least two.
Rosa was the name of the gangrel.
Oh yeah, Rose is the name of the gangrel.
Wait,
That's
Rose,
just...
Rose, and Rose.
Rose and Rosa. Yeah.
Look,
Yep.
we're gonna have to diabolarize some people. This
Listen,
is just
Rosa
getting a
is
little
not
silly.
it's not the same. That's just my own badness.
Right, we'll be back in a bit. Hello and welcome back to Roll For It. We're playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Silence of Shadows. And take it away, Mathis.
Focusing back on Ava then, for a moment. You're led through the streets of downtown Chicago and the bristling busyness of it all. And you're never led outside of downtown Chicago. You still have plenty of people around you. You're just led a little bit away from the rack. Maybe just a few streets over until eventually you're greeted with a bar. Gorgeous, gorgeous two-story place called the Violet Hour. You're led inside and past the bouncers, past the line waiting to get in, with a smile as the bouncer greets the both of you. Rose gently pats him on the shoulder and gives him a gentle kiss on the cheek as they make their way by. And when you enter, you're greeted with a gorgeous sight. Floor-to-ceiling curtains of various bright colors fill the entire room with endless high-back chairs that stretch around all tables. When you look around, there's actually a weird sense of fairy tale-ness to it all. The size of the chairs, the curtains, the length of the tables, and even some of the beer glasses are really tall and bizarre. It gives you almost an Alice in Wonderland type of feel while you walk in here. The drinks themselves are every single patron you see has something different of bright colors and different fruits flavors. Some have little umbrellas hanging off the top. Some have a sugared rim. Others have fruit sitting inside. It's impossible to know what they're drinking unless you take a moment to taste. But you don't have a moment as she whisks you past all of these tables and brings you to the nearby staircase. There, two more bouncers sit, but she smiles at them and they smile. One actually says, "Welcome, Miss Rose," and to her lovely guest. And they smile at you and let you...
Oh no, Mathis. You muted again. Your mic just like cut out.
I don't know why. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we can hear you. Yes.
It just said my internet connection is unstable. I just got that message.
Oh, interesting. That must have been it. Yeah, because it only cut out the end of what you said.
Yeah. It was something Bowser's Rose and her friend, and then it cut out.
I wonder why my internet's unstable. I'll say, she brings you to the stairs, and the bouncers look to you and welcome Rose and her lovely friend. You're brought upstairs by Rose, and there's still people mingling about. But all of them, she greets, is like maybe a handful of them on these areas where you have a long couch with the curtains behind it, and a couple of tables that sit at the edge overlooking the dance floor and the bar area. She walks each one, and they each welcome her, each one smiling and clearly knowing her name, and she introduces you to each one of them. And they each greet you with a smile, and they're so happy to see Rose and so happy to see you. You eventually walk away and into a private little area. Not a room, but just a corner booth in this second floor. One of the waiters is brought over, and she goes, "Are you hungry?" To you, Ava.
Starving.
A preference at all?
Oh no. What
She
whatever
just
you
waves.
have.
She waves when you say not at all. She looks to the server and she goes, "Two, bring us something that'll make us happy." And he just nods and walks away, leaving just the two of you. She turns to face you and places her hands crossing her fingers on the table, and you can see gorgeous rings with bright red stones and blue stones and green stones and bracelets hanging from both wrists. They clatter and clang as she brings her hands up to the table. And she looks to you, and she just smiles. Does Ava say anything?
Not at first. She is taking in the atmosphere, taking in the scenery.
She watches as you take it in, and as you look over the drinking floor and the floor up above where you currently sit, she goes, "It may not be what you're used to in your highfalutin downtown Camarilla-style bars with the rest of your kind, but," she looks around, "I've grown to quite enjoy this place."
It's lovely, actually. I'm quite surprised that I have not seen this area myself. Not my usual crowd, but
She smiles again. That's probably for the better, at least for now.
For now, yes. So, what brings you to invite me to such a place like this? There must be something.
She smiles, and she's about to say something before the server comes over, and he has two very full wine glasses, sliding one in front of each. And she waves him off before she swirls her around, and she said, "Simply curiosity, at least for now." And she sips. Do you go to sip yours?
Yes, I will sip as well to be curious.
When the glass is brought up to your lips, you can actually get the gentle scent of that crimson vitae that so desperately you need. You can feel your body almost chills run over it and the beast inside calling for the food. How hungry are you?
I'm actually I'm not very hungry. I'm only at 1 dot.
You're at 1 hunger? You can't even quench your own thirst beyond this point then. And while it smells good, you may just leave it and she doesn't question you if you do.
I'm mostly doing it for show. So
sure. You take a sip and place the glass on the ground, clearly showing at the very least a thankfulness for it all. When she places the glass down and she leaves it kind of her last words lingering in the air very tensely. Curiosity and nothing more. Perhaps you can call it pity.
Pity. Well, that's very kind. I don't need much pity as I've been making do with my sentence, as you'd call it.
She lets the words ruminate for a minute and she says, I didn't mean to insult or assume anything. And I wouldn't see it as a pity. Perhaps was a bit of a strong word and I apologize for using it. I wouldn't want to be pitied either. But, well, I can't imagine what it would be like to be disavowed by your own clan. It feels barbaric.
In a way.
Wasn't even the rumors swirl. It was a joint effort between you and your now late brother that got you in trouble.
Yes, well, at least that part is making rounds around the garden, but it's quite all right. I understand if you were just curious as to what it's like for a Toreador like myself. It's bad, but it's not the worst. Don't worry.
So you don't see your punishment as something to bring shame?
What do you
see it as?
What do I have to be ashamed of at this point?
I agree entirely.
If the prince saw it as a dual sentence, what my brother did, it is what it is. There's not much I can do at this point. It's best for me to live my life as the rose I am and make do with what I have.
And you are a beautiful rose. There's no denying that at all.
Yes.
It never really was. And that tends to come with being what you are. The thing about the rose garden, however, is that the rumors don't really stay within the garden as much as they like to pretend. So I'm curious, like, if I may, and she actually pauses, ask a couple questions.
Ask away.
What did you do?
What did I do?
As the rumors go, you and your brother betrayed the Camarilla, but that means very little.
Well, as I just met you, Rose, I'm not going to get into too much detail.
I would never expect.
My brother was involved in some things, researching things about things he probably shouldn't have been getting into, and it unfortunately got him killed.
Sure, and while your brother committed many a crime, what's interesting is that he was put to death, but you weren't. So whatever weight these rumors carry, I'm curious how much truth there is to them. He says you were involved. Were you?
I was not directly involved.
I didn't think so. And she laughs and takes another sip.
But
the question is then, why punish you? That doesn't make any sense unless they're... Well, that doesn't make any sense either. Why do you think they punished you?
Well, my brother was very close to me. We're twins, after all. I guess she saw that the things that he was involved with were close with me, and that I was to blame also.
Ah.
Like I said,
seems a bit unfair.
It is what it is. There's not much I can do now.
No. Clearly not. You're still being ignored. It just seems needlessly cruel. She goes to sip again. Similar. She smiles. I don't really have much to go to myself. Chicago's still relatively new. Only been here for a few years. Legally, legally. And she like cuts you off before you even ask the question. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be feeding so near the ivory tower so openly unless I had confidence, I guess. Maybe you'll never know. But I don't have many people either to rely on here. And for what it's worth, the Camarilla seems to be very picky about who they trust. Fair enough in the modern Knights, I suppose.
It's been that way for some time now, yes. I'm glad you've caught on. How... So you've been here for a few years. Coming from New York? I heard it's
She
bad
just
there.
kind of gives you like a disapproved look. No, but where I come from doesn't really matter anymore.
Fair enough. Well, you at least must know some people if you've been able to hear the rumor mill.
Certainly, I am not disgraced as you are. But I have a distaste for the Rose Garden as well. I have been a victim of their misinformation more than once in my life.
Oh, really?
That's just how they operate. Social butterflies there to control you from behind the scenes while kissing you when they see you. That's just your clan, I'm sure. And I don't mean any offense, but you have many a talents that lie very similarly.
Of course. So, what are your thoughts now on the Rose Garden?
They are what... She shrugs. They are what they are. They rule Chicago. The prince herself is one. They frustrate me. Certainly.
Of course.
Maybe a little too much.
Have you had the honor to meet the prince herself?
I have only once. When I first arrived.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I've seen her one too many times, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. One too many times to see the prince typically means that you've been punished, and well... Well, I agree. The Rose Garden, the prince has done a fine job, and Chicago has been relatively quiet. But I still disagree with their manner of punishment. Especially if you're not exactly tied to Zach as intimately as they like to let others believe.
I'm glad you have such an open mind.
I do. I have a question, actually. Perhaps even an offer. If you're interested in listening.
I'm all ears.
I've done a little research, and I know your sire, Sienna.
Yes.
Seems to be a duty-bound toreador to the prince. She's very good at her job. But it's from my understanding that all kindred of some types have personal goals, and Sienna, of course, is not immune from such personal desires. I'd be curious if you'd be interested in maybe learning a little bit more about your sire with me.
What is it that you're trying to learn about her?
Well, I have it on good authority that she may be meeting somebody in a few weeks from now. One of her personal retainers is going around Chicago setting up some meetings. I could give you the name, and if you ever run into the person, perhaps you can learn exactly who she's meeting and why.
My sire and I used to be very, very close. Closer than most kindred are with their sires.
And like most kindred, I'm assuming the two of you grew distant over time. She became afraid of your ambitions, as most sires do of their child.
Somewhat. I think she just went with the crowd in the shunning, as you would say.
My dear, if tying herself to the crowd gave her more power than tying herself to you, then it was certainly out of self-interest.
Yes, I've gathered that. I'm willing to do what I can in this. She does not speak to me anymore, so to be quite honest, I'm curious as to what she's up to. I did used to attend some of these meetings that she used to be part of.
I only recently learned because she's been taking meetings with some of those I know. I don't know what she's been up to, and I'm very curious about it.
You know, so are these people of...
They're kindred, if that's what you're curious.
You're not Toreador, are you?
What does your gut tell you?
When
When you look to her, she is beautiful, gorgeous from top to bottom. And when she speaks, there is an air of confidence in her words. And when you look to her, you can't help but be drawn to just how beautiful and elegant she is.
So,
That
Would
sounds
I-
Toreador to you.
okay.
You don't know. You don't know
Okay.
for sure. There's no way to know. She just smiles
Actually,
and says,
yeah.
what does your gut tell you?
Hmm.
One
it-
disgraced. She goes, perhaps one disgraced rose working with another, creating their own garden of sorts.
Perhaps that is the way it is then.
Perhaps.
I will try to help with this proposition you have.
She smiles. A budding garden does need its buzzing bees.
Yes, it's been a while since I've really done much of substance. So, well. a
Well,
few
this
things
will
here and there.
require you being within downtown Chicago again. He's been buzzing around here for quite a while. Gregory is his first name.
Gregory.
Been
Okay.
buzzing around talking to other kindreds on behalf of Sienna for some reason or another. If you find the time. And if it matters, you are welcome to the Violet and I forgot the
The
name.
Violet Hour.
The Violet Hour of
Yeah.
whenever you see fit.
Perfect. I could use a new place. The rack is getting a little dull for me.
Hmm.
I thankfully should be seen around these parts a bit more. My coterie and I took care of some things for the prince, so I might actually have a standing here again and not get
Well, that would be
side
mighty,
eyes.
mighty useful if that ends up being true. Until
Yes.
then, she waves away. No more business talk. Tell me, where the hell did you buy that dress? And she smiles.
And then Ava will go on and
she-
continue talking.
She drinks with you and spends the entire night. You lose hours. Crowley, when you return to your haven, Ava is nowhere to be seen. When you go to the
Poor
septic tank, Ava is nowhere to be seen. And so you spend the nice rest of the night hacking up 3 bodies. You're able to get 3 bodies hacked up and stashed, where the other 2 are going to end up being left out for the night.
I will eat 1 point from one of the bodies that's left out. I'll just chop it into burgers. And I'll make burgers.
Ava and so Ava, you're going to spend the night here, and if you'll be offered a ride to where you wish to stay for the night, or you will be offered a place within the Violet Hour since you were detoured to spend a night in one of the sunproof rooms that they have here, and she'll cover the cost.
I'll probably stay there then, honestly.
You are literally led to a steel door, windowless room with a sun bag inside, and that is where you spend the night. Dakota and Ollie, you're heading to the Ivory Tower, walking your way through the sewers with the manila envelope in Dakota's hand and silence as your only other company. Do you wish to discuss anything? If not, we can go right to the Ivory Tower.
Don't tell anybody about the books.
Okay. It's easy.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, quite a night, huh? Yeah, it's kind of Dakota's probably super awkward in honesty.
Why are you worried about the books?
No reason, I guess. Just fucking who needs to know, right?
That's fair. You're gonna use up the sleeve kind of thing.
I guess. Something I just do occasionally, and obviously I have a fair share of overdue books, so
Not like it's really gonna be a problem.
I guess the librarian doesn't seem to care too much.
You know, if you wait long enough, there'll be a different librarian eventually.
Yeah, I like this one though.
Alright. Well, whatever works for you. Whatever's clever. I mean, it's cool though.
That is.
Took some Took some time, but we got
Yeah.
nothing but time, right? So it's good that you learned.
Yeah, it seemed like, it was a good idea. Between, I guess, Zach and the prince, I managed to figure out how to do it.
You learn ways that people can stop using you.
I guess. It's just nice to be able to, in the know.
Yeah. That's helpful. So you can read as your penmanship.
I write sometimes. It's not very legible.
You danced on that one for a minute. What you writing
again,
there, Arnoldstein?
Nothing. I'm not writing anything. I don't know. It's easier to deal with shit when you write it down. I'm not terribly good with words. Haven't noticed.
It's easy to remember. Helps me.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good. I won't tell anybody. Not like I got anybody to tell anyway.
Oh, please.
What? You think
More
Grant
friends than the
and I even
coterie
know?
combined.
I got people that I owe favors to and that they owe favors to me. We're not friends.
I guess.
In the last 10 years, it's been a lot of grace and palms. It's not been friendly. I'm not super proud of all the things that I do, but capital's hard to come by, and there's a lot of people that this city just hates. More than just kindred, even if they don't know about us. Just forgets about good people like Grant.
Yeah. I'm afraid he's not gonna like me very much anymore.
You know, I think he'll come around.
Yeah. Ollie, everything I touch turns to shit. Right? Forever. It's always been that way. And so I have no words for this. I don't really do friendships or relationships or acquaintanceships, right? My circle of influence includes a shitty, crooked cop, a butcher that definitely doesn't care that I come asking for gallons of blood quite frequently, and there was a boat security man until I ate him. So, as you can tell, all in all, the only thing I've got are some dogs and a very large overdue library find. So, I keep my distance from people for a reason. Because if I don't, they always leave. And if I do, well, then they usually die. Like Zach.
Want my 2 cents, or?
Can't get anything for 2 cents anyways.
That's fair. That's fair. It just sounds like all of the things that turned to shit were going to shit way before you touched them. It's not like you accelerated its course. You were just a part of it. Just like everything else in the world is a part of it. So you didn't speed that up. It's not like touching Dakota is a one-way ticket to Shittown. Everything is going to Shittown anyway. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
And all of those things that went tits up, went pear-shaped, that's also not your fault.
A lot of it is.
You may have had a hand in some things, but I've done some shit that I'm not proud of. I've said shit that I'm not proud of. I've lied. I've stolen. I've cheated. And I've killed a lot. But not all of it's that bad. And you gotta have a reason for wanting to do this, or you just wake up every day wanting to walk into the sun.
Well, I've thought about that one a few times.
The same. Same. But while I got the time, I may as well make an impact, right? All those tree huggers that talk about your carbon footprint, right? And what you leave behind. I think most of it's bullshit, but I do think that there is some merit to what they say. We have to be bad. What we do is not good, by any stretch of the means or anyone else's eyes. But that doesn't mean that we can't try to put a little good back out.
Yeah.
I don't think you're bad, and I know what you're trying to do. It's easy to just push me away. And it definitely sounds like you've not had a relationship worth talking about. It sounds like you've just been stuck in a bunch of relationships. But I ain't gonna force you to do anything that you don't want to do, and I'm not gonna hear him pushing and pee.
No,
You just
Ollie, you
do what you do.
it's kind of new.
Yeah.
And
For me too.
so I just don't want to fuck it. I don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah. Same. Because it's real easy to fuck anything up.
It is when you're Dakota Rain.
Shit. Not any different when you're Oliver Hopkins. Hell, I walked around for 13 years with the moniker The Butcher, and people still introduce me as that. Do you think that's a friendly title? I don't exactly get invited to house parties.
I liked your name.
Yeah, it's not one I'm super proud of, and it's one that I still think of quite often. And I wish I could go back and change that, but... fuck. That wasn't my decision. And I still think Rudy had something to do with that. Or he paid someone to do it. Or something, I don't know. You know what they used to call me before, all this? My ring name was Babyface. Oliver Babyface Hopkins.
Did you have a baby face?
Well, I did. Big fucking rosy cheeks. I was a
would have
lady
hated
killer.
you.
I was a lady killer, but I wasn't out trying to kill ladies. Hell, the only people I was trying to kill was in the ring. That's all that mattered. I felt like I was going places, and who knows, I probably would have wound the drain. Back here in Chicago, working for some gang, because it's just too easy.
So who are you working for now?
Sometimes I feel like I'm working for myself, but we're always in someone else's hand. We're playing someone else's game.
I mean, couldn't they be playing our game?
Hey, that would be cool. That would be real cool, but I ain't gonna hold my breath. Just trying to take a step at a time and make sure that that step is forward, not back.
I hold up this envelope that we've got and kind of gesture with it. What do you think this is gonna do for us? Because I'll be honest, I'm a fucking bit nervous.
Why? We did exactly what she wanted us to do. Well, by us, I mean Kindred.
Yeah.
Malik was supposed to die, and he's dead. We have proof. And while I didn't read this letter that she wrote, I really hope it doesn't say something like, you're a fucking asshole, because that would look really bad on us.
No, I think Ava has a bit more taste than that. I had to write the letter for a reason.
Well, you don't have to be proud, but I don't think you have to be nervous either.
Ugh. I'm always nervous when I go in front of the prince.
Yeah, she's just pretty, but she's also pretty much bullshit.
She's something, that's for sure.
Either way I see it, we did her a favor. We did exactly what she wanted, regardless of the reasons, be they visible or completely hidden. Malik is no more. And I think we got more than enough that we can start leading on.
So then I guess we just turn it in and wait.
And we look real good.
clearly my forte.
We walk away with red ribbons. We don't have black veins. We're not going to be in too much trouble.
Yeah, it's not actually about the trouble, Ollie. There's nothing to be in trouble for. As you stated, we did exactly what she wanted. But the more we're on her radar, the more we're on their radar,
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to do things behind the scenes. I'm trying to stay as quiet as I can. The more noise you make, the more attention that is drawn. Hell, we used to be called the loud ones. There's only so many times you can say that to us before I finally wise up. I like to say that I'm constantly failing forward.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah. You can only take it on the chin too many times before you wise up. So, I don't know. Just try to move aware of your footsteps. That's all I can do, and that's all I can maybe recommend. You is a different story, right? I'm just some schmuck in venture territory running a bar. You are
running a bar? Ollie, in less than 24 hours, you have pulled 2 major people into play for us. You're like a fucking gangster. The difference is you don't deal in guns, money, and prostitutes. You I don't know, you deal in AA programs and blood. I don't know, Ollie. I guess what I'm trying to say is you're fucking doing shit. You did shit. You have done shit.
Yeah.
You saw what I'm good at.
Yeah. And there's blood on my hands for it, too. I don't want you to think that I just did this all legit. I didn't go work a 9 to 5 every day and have this all on the books so that I can get these, get everything that I got. But that's not what it's about.
What is it about?
Like I said, just trying to put a little good out there with all the bad shit that we do. Finding your reason for waking up.
So what, you're just Robin Hooding this bullshit?
What else was there to do? I could play their game and just a real fucking bad dude, but I'm already that.
Please. You've never been a bad dude a day in your life, Ollie.
Tell Scott Adkins. He's probably an old man now, but his face is butchered, lacerated. He lost his eye. The night I lost my reputation, and he's the boxer that haunts my dreams. Because he never boxed again either. I mean, I guess when I think about it, maybe it's not even a dream, just a mild thought that passes by.
We've all done shit we're not proud of, Ollie. Shit. I turned the only father figure I ever have into a pancake on a table in front of a bunch of people in a bar, so,
Yeah. My my father figure, he's still in town. I don't ever go see him. I made a mistake once, and I went to see a girl that I grew up with. It was definitely a mistake, and Zach bailed me out. But Zach took that to his grave. He knew about my stepfather, adoptive father. He was a good dude, and man can cut some hair. His name was Pop. Everybody called him Pop.
Think he could cut my hair?
It doesn't really matter. It's going to come back tomorrow, right?
I don't know. I've not tried that yet.
Well, I think everything else does. No matter what I do, everything else seems to come back tomorrow, so... you could probably walk in if he's still working, but arthritis was starting to set in by the time I hit my early 20s. So he might be training some people there. He always did like to kick back and read the newspaper.
Well, who am I to bother his daily newspaper read?
You right. He can be a little crotchety, but if you can step in knowing anything about boxing, he'll talk your ear off. He'll love that. And the man loved comic books too.
2 things I've continually say were never part of my life. Well, my past one, anyways.
Oh man, comic books were the fucking coolest.
I couldn't
were-
read, Ollie.
That's why I miss most of its pictures.
Still want to know
You
what's
can
in the
read now.
bubble. I guess comic books aren't really my forte, though.
I'll bring you one later. Okay. Just to take a look at. Maybe one of my favorites. How's it sound?
You still have comic books?
Fuck yeah, I have comic books. You never outgrow comic books. What do you want about?
I take books for a library, so nothing, really.
Yeah, I'll bring you a reader.
All right, I'll hold you to it.
On that? Or is there more?
He's not going to say anything else.
The dropping off of the letter is quite simple. The woman at the desk, who is there every single night, grins at you, smiles widely, and says, Miss Dakota, how may I help you this evening?
I slide the envelope across and I say,
This one's important. Will you make sure the prince gets it ASAP?
She smiles. Does it have to do with Project Target? And yes is the answer.
I simply smile and say,
What target?
Ew. She smiles. I'll make sure it gets to her offices within the night. If she needs to speak with you after, she'll reach out to you personally.
I have no doubt. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for your service, Miss Dakota. As you're making your way... Oh, please, go ahead.
Yep, nope. I just turn and my boots squeak on the way out.
Ollie, are you there as well?
Yeah.
You're ignored. As you walk out, the
Horrible.
double doors to the ivory tower swing open, and in walks a rather large figure. Last time you saw him, he punched through a door to grab hold of you. He does not lock eyes with either of you and just aims to walk past.
If I say anything.
You are within the ivory tower. Keep that in mind.
I should, you know what? I do. I nod.
Sheriff?
In total respect.
Yeah, no, that's fine. He side eyes you and grunts and then keeps walking. His heavy steps echoing throughout the main hall.
You probably hear the leather on Dakota's gloves tighten as her fists
Ollie
do.
definitely hears. He probably hears, but he does not pay attention.
There's a
Thank you.
slight growl under my lip as he walks past.
And then you continue to walk out.
Shall we?
I gesture very quickly to the door before I explode.
Yeah, before you lose it, you make your way out the front door and eventually down into the sewers. I'm assuming you're all going back to the bar as well? Or is Dakota going to go to Northerly Island? You're going to re-meet tomorrow night?
I think the plan was to gather again, right?
Okay, if you're going to gather again, then off to the bar you go. You have plenty of time still. Eventually, with the exception of Ava, Crowley, Dakota, and Ollie, even after butchering, you still have about an hour before the sun rises, and then Crowley, obviously, you have a little bit of time after that, but insignificant amount. But the three of you find your way at your bar. Ava never returns.
Where'd Ava go?
No, she's just disappeared. We're meant to meet up.
Oh. And she just failed
It was
on
a-
you?
As far as on top of this, something in the back of all characters' mind, you know she had one of the fucking hardest nights of her life. It's not necessarily out of the question that she'd just be like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
need a break.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Well, also, she just bailed. She had a bit of a stressful night.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to see me either.
She'll be back. She can't stay gone long.
Yeah.
My fear is that she can, Ollie. She can.
And if that's what she decides, it's a choice.
Exactly, my man. Speaking of which, since presumably at some point we're going to get called in front of the prince, you do want me in the coterie, don't you?
So
I don't want to ask you in
it's
front
like
of the
the
prince
stray
and make
dog
it-
is just like, you gonna keep me?
Look, Crowley, if we let you go now, based on everything you know, I just have to kill you, so...
Same. You might be fast, but you eventually got to slow down.
Right, okay, but at the same time, you should trust me if you want me in the coterie anyway.
Right. Well, that's what we
Crowley,
were do.
we keep letting you hang out. I don't have a fucking problem, I guess, if you're in the coterie. But, I'm going to be honest. I want to wait until the prince gives you permission to fucking be here.
Right, yeah, but I was just wondering, instead of it being in front of the prince and you being forced into a decision because you're in that circumstance.
Could have been forced to do more in front of the prince than that.
Yeah, well, I can refuse. And I get booted out of the city.
You're so dramatic, Crowley.
If you're looking for my blessing, sure, you got it. But obviously, if you fuck up, it's really no skin off my back. Not like you can really do a whole lot worse to taint the image of me.
Right.
I would make a recommendation, though, probably since she's not here at this point. Don't really know what your immediate intentions are with Ava. Not that I'm exactly her dad or anything, but man, you should really proceed with caution.
Right.
She is a black widow wrapped in a white bunny costume.
That's right. Internally, I call her Danger Thighs.
I don't want to know how you know that, but what I will tell you is that Ava is really good at what she does.
I will believe that.
More importantly, she's had it worse than all of us, and I'm sure you know that by now.
Yeah, she's told me.
So, just don't make her angry.
Put it this way. My intentions, the coterie, consist of being a good friend. I'll keep your confidences, and I'll help out where needed.
It's fair. Just giving you the fair warning. That's all.
Fair enough, it's appreciated.
Well, I would say a job well done. Anybody want a brew? It's on me.
I mean,
Keep conversation light for the evening. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, Dakota.
I was about to say, I don't think Dakota's had a beer in what?
Oh, a long time. 10 years?
Pretty
You were
much.
humanity-
Seemed like at
you were
least 2
humanity
months
force and-
since you couldn't.
And I actually think the first time I've ever done blush
Flush
of life
was with the hug.
ever was after the Rowan
Mhm,
evening.
the hug.
Yep. That's the first time ever. So I
Can give it a try.
Yeah, go ahead and you just roll a rouse check.
I can
As
give it a
the beers
try.
are poured and an ice cold glass is put before you of whatever beer of your choice you wish to have.
Ah,
I think
Instinctually,
there's
still
still a
not even
check.
fully done on purpose. You can once again feel the warmth kick in. You can feel your stomach actually make noise and churn, and you actually feel that your lungs can fill with oxygen again. It's not truly alive, but it's enough of a memory to remind you of what mortal life sort of felt like. You'll still have to puke this beer up in a few hours.
great.
I
Just
think
like
there's
a
still a check
proper
to
frat
just
girl.
keep it down. I think there's a
At
rule.
humanity, what are you at 5?
Yeah.
Someone
I'll double
reminded
check.
me recently. It's something really weird that we've completely missed. Apparently there's 2 tiers where one tier you don't need to check, and the second tier you need to check anyway, even if you can possibly rouse the blood for it.
All right, I'll take a look. Keep playing.
Yeah. So
Break out 3 PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. The grossest shit that I've ever had.
The gang
God.
will drink this garbage. Pabst
30
is your
pounds for like
choice.
20 bucks.
20
What
bucks
is it?
gets you like 64
I
cans.
was
Yeah,
about to say
no, it's
64
like-
cans of Pabst Blue Ribbon. You can drown yourself in it for $20.
This is a reminder that not everything was so sweet in life.
right, okay. Yeah, that's shit. That's really shit.
I drink it. That tastes like garbage.
Oh yeah. Soak it in. It's fucking gross.
Well, before coming over, I ate a thigh, so fair enough.
What is it with thighs tonight? Dakota says out loud, second mention of thighs. She drinks PBR.
I
Chug.
give a wink, like a thigh
Solid
guy.
piece of meat, really easy to access, easy to dislocate the hip joint.
I'm with you until the end. You had me in the beginning.
Right, okay.
And you enjoy a night of light conversation, cheap beer, and a reminder of what your freaking frat days were once like.
Dislocating hip joints, yeah.
Yeah, well, some people's frat days, maybe.
Shh, not all of us were into Greek life, Mathis. Some of
Hey,
us went to
I'm-
art school.
I was saying, Ollie is like 7 feet tall. He was certainly breaking hips even at that age.
I believe that.
We're just going to go ahead to the next night. Ava will arrive at the bar, and I just want everybody to gather since, we've got the last hour here. There's absolute, I imagine, some talk that has to happen before we get to the Elysium meeting that you're all going to be called to for the blood hunt to be finished. And so the next night, staggering in, everybody will follow in, giving you an opportunity to speak about the events, Malik, whatever he said, and give you guys just a chance to kind of line everything up, and then we can go to the next spot. While you do that, I'm going to pee real quick.
Did you want to rouse?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Rousing success. I'm killing it today.
Man.
Hunger Gain! God damn it.
Yeah.
I need to go home and get more food.
You have 5 bodies. I do not want to hear you complain about groceries anymore, Crowley.
The groceries need to be dislocated and cut and put into a box.
This is all. You have plenty of groceries.
It's a lot of grocery prep.
Eat what is in the fridge first. Okay.
Right. So, in addition to what we're all asking for individually, we're also asking for something about territory that belongs to a baron.
I have a deep interest in getting us just... If you haven't noticed, the bar's a bit public.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Just something that's ours. We used to have a little bit. No, we don't have any.
Right.
I don't really intend to ask for anything. At least nothing that's really going to be super important. Just access to some deeds.
Right. What I would only request is some sort of acceptance back into the Camarilla.
You want to go back to the tower?
No, I don't want to go back to tower. I'm not
You could ask
asking for the
muffler
world
for
here.
the garage door.
God, I was like, I hope that didn't get picked up.
Only
Of course, it always does. So annoying.
It's Crowley's stomach.
So,
So I'm not asking for the world here. I'm just asking that they allow me to be in my old stomping grounds and hang out there. Of course, there'll still be the rumors and the shunning and the talking behind the back, but I don't want to be excommunicated is really what I'm trying to get at here.
Something Ava would know, you're not excommunicated. You're still within the Camarilla. You're merely just being shunned is like just the kind of formal term. Really, it's just rumor mongering and like asking for that to stop. You could, but you're not kicked out of the Camarilla. You're just kicked out of the Ivory Tower. You are persona non grata, correct?
If the prince could put in a good word for me among the roses, that would be my only request. And I know that's a big ask.
It's Mean Girls all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry
I
that you
don't
all are
know
part
that
of this.
reference.
You should.
We'll have to have a movie night sometime, Dakota, so you can understand how the Toreador truly act.
Yeah.
It is a mean girl.
We'll have a movie night and you'll soon understand everything. It'll make so much sense. But seriously, that's all I could ask of the prince. Nothing more. If she could just put in a good word to me, to Sienna, to anybody, that would be lovely. Anybody else asking for anything specific upon themselves?
I mean, I've got asked to stay here.
Yes, obviously. Yours
I've got
is
to ask permission
acceptance among...
Have a house somewhere or something.
Speaking of that, Ava, we had some drinks with Crowley last night, and Ollie and I are in agreement that maybe Crowley should be considered part of the crew.
That's fine by me. I had already considered that to be a thing that would happen after all this. So
There you
I
go,
have no issue.
Crowley. It is unanimous. Welcome to the most fucked up coterie in Chicago.
Well, thank you very much. I'm truly touched. My cold, beating heart actually feels still cold. Yep.
Well, welcome officially then. As long as the prince says you can stay, welcome.
Can I ask you something, Ava?
Yes.
If you don't really want to be back in the tower, why bother with their opinions?
Well, what else am I supposed to do here? I have things, people to talk to, socializing to do in my old stomping grounds. I want to be there without getting a sneer remarks behind my back and side eyes, side glances.
So,
Crowley, you really should work on that stomach.
Sorry.
Ew.
With me. Someone made a mention about other thighs last night, and I've been feeling a little bit awkward since then.
okay. So, thoughts on asking for the opportunity to claim territory from the Baron?
Seems like a good group ask.
Do we want the responsibility? Everybody wants a puppy. Not everybody's capable of taking care of it.
I think that it seems like a great place for us. It's a step up from what we used to have. A big step up.
Hey, I liked our last haven.
Having
I hated it.
an additional hunting ground would be nice. Also,
Yes.
Agreed.
making sure that someone is there to run it regularly. Ava does need more than just walking around the rose bush.
It's true.
Right.
Ava, maybe we could find you something more than a septic tank.
I do need somewhere to invest some assets.
You mean a bigger freezer for your bodies?
That would be very helpful. Well, more than that, though.
Let's just see if we can get you to even stay here first.
That would be helpful.
I'm sure we're going to have to jump through hoops. It's going to be way more than cleansing Malik.
It's true. But no, Ava, I won't be asking for anything. I have my eyes set on something bigger. And asking for something now is not going to be helpful.
That's fair. Well, now I feel like the weird one, being the only one to ask for something personal, but besides
Crowley's got a
Kelly,
shit
of
ton of
course.
stuff to ask for.
But I mean, I'm the one who got punished the most, and now I'm...
You have the
I don't
most-
know.
That's it. You just have the most to gain.
It's true.
I guess so.
We don't want to look too ambitious. Or at least I don't.
I guess so. By the way, don't think that this at all makes me feel okay about the prince after what she did to me.
I don't think anybody's okay with the prince.
This is merely me being able to have a social life again.
She does sound like a bit of an asshole. So,
You'll find out very soon, Crowley.
I hope not. The asshole bit? That seems like something I'd rather avoid.
She's terribly good at her job.
Terribly.
That's the point. Imagine if we were Prince. Imagine how strong and assholish we'd have to be. How good.
That is one
That's a
job
ridiculous
I do not want.
idea.
It is. But all I'm saying is, she got her hands full.
Yeah.
By
She
the
won't
way,
gavel.
Crowley. Go ahead, Ollie.
I'm just saying, she's going to wear that gavel and she's going to do it handily and heartily, so.
Crowley, I apologize for not meeting you last night at the septic tank. I went to my old stomping grounds, downtown Chicago, and just had a night there.
Fair enough.
Uh-huh.
You needed to go
I
do
didn't-
your stuff. I understand.
Yes, so I apologize. And I appreciate you being willing to help me after last night.
No problem. You went through a lot of shit.
Thank you.
We'll say then time passes. You spend some time in the bar kind of waiting for the inevitable. And eventually the inevitable comes knocking at your door in the form of Rhonda. Smiling widely as she sees the four of you.
Oh,
I
Rhonda.
had a sneaking suspicion I'd find the four of you here.
Hi.
Can you imagine
I'm new
why? And she kind of just makes a grand gesture.
Tell us you have us a ride, Rhonda.
I have a ride. And I'm to take you to meet the prince. Come.
We will meet you out there.
She makes her way outside.
Oh, as soon as she's out the door, I put a hand up and I'm like, we should additionally avoid mentioning Crowley helping us in the Camille situation.
What situation? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wonderful. Our ride awaits.
So, please don't mention anything about a Methuselah. No
Yeah,
sandwiches.
that word, Crowley, I swear I will.
Okay. I was going into this with the impression that we literally only talk about Malik.
Great. Wonderful. That is.
Done. That was it. That's literally it.
Yep,
And we didn't
yep.
even really mention the boat ride. Just
Nope. I
Malik,
clap him.
good.
What boat ride? I clap him on the shoulder. What boat ride?
Right. Okay. You're just talking about a lot of things. I'm like, I didn't even know they were kind of come.
I got a little nervous, Crowley.
Okay.
Just making
little
sure we're all on the
nervous.
same page.
Right.
That's all.
How cleverly you're going to answer how the hell you got into town, because she's going to ask.
Yep.
I drove. You guys are making this into like a big ordeal, like there were trenches and barbed wire involved. It was literally a highway and a
right.
van and a tank of gas.
Crowley, get
You
in the
got
car.
it then, partner. Hopefully you
There's
save your
a turn
own.
back now.
Let's go.
Outside you go. And outside, a giant SUV with tinted windows and black paint awaits. And a nameless gentleman is there opening the doors for all of you to usher you in. When you're all inside the van,
I tip him.
or rather the SUV, sorry, go ahead.
I tip him. I put like a $5 bill into his shirt pocket.
He looks down
Doing.
awkwardly at it.
I smack you. What are you doing?
Look, people deserve their part. Inside.
He just looks confused. And then
He's already embarrassing us. Just great.
you're all heading inside.
Do
And
my
as
job.
then he walks over and pops into the driver's side seat and begins to drive you in. Rhonda's in the passenger side, the shotgun, and she spins around her hair in her chair like a child and peeks over the top. She looks at four of you and then locks to Crowley. I know all the kindred in this city, and yet I don't know you.
Hi, I'm Crowley. I'm new here.
How new? And she just smiles.
Oh, very new. I came here for the, the
I see. Well, and then she just kind of smiles and looks at the other three. Hope you've all had a good few nights.
It's been busy.
So it seems. There's that awkward silence. She's like, all right. And she spins back into her chair and you can see her pull out her book and you can hear her scribbling some things.
How are you, Rhonda?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
I was going to ask who you were in particular because all I know is you're Rhonda and you're Harpy. Is there anything more I need to know?
That should be all you need to know.
Right. Very nice to meet you.
You as well, Mr. Crowley, who's new here. And she finishes writing and then closes the book very quickly and pockets it. The prince is excited.
Oh,
Excited.
Job well done, I'm told, but shh, that's just spoilers. And
Right.
you're driven relatively quietly the rest of the way. Brought to the front of the ivory tower and all 37 floors of its tower above you. The gentleman who is driving pops out and lets you all out the passenger side doors. Rhonda leads you into the front, where the room is relatively empty, save the woman behind the desk. A few very light words are exchanged before, as always, you're led to the rear elevator, and the doors ding as they roll open. All five of you step inside, and Rhonda presses the button for the top floor, and the elevator ride begins to gently take you up. I imagine it is all silent, with the exception of whatever light rock from the 90s is playing gently over the elevator radio
Why?
speakers. Eventually,
If it's Creed, I'm furying.
Free.
it's not 3 doors down. All right, come on.
Okay. Well, I may not have to fury for that.
Eventually, the 37th floor arrives. It dings and the doors roll open, and before you are the double doors that lead into her luxurious penthouse suite. The first time Crowley has seen such a thing.
It's okay.
Private security stand on the outside, and Rhonda stays in the elevator. She smiles and waves at you goodbye, every single one, and you walk past the double doors, past the private security, and into what is the grand welcoming living room with the chairs in front of a fireplace that is not crackling, and beside her, the sheriff standing next to her, and a couple other private security that stand within the room. She stands behind the desk, does not sit, and her back is to you as she gazes over Chicago through the large windows that are the wall of that area. Once the four of you are brought in, the doors are shut behind you, locked, and after a few moments, Bella spins around, smiling.
I nod and partially do my usual greeting of bowing.
She gestures for you to come stand by her side.
I do.
You stand by her left, while the sheriff is on her right. Ollie, Crowley, and Ava are left standing there, all giving their respects, of course. Nobody's, your etiquette is not poor by any stretch. Tell me the details. All of them. I've gotten the picture and your letter, Miss Heloise. A job well done to the four of you. But first, details. Where was he? She looks to each of you.
The street name.
You say you give the street name, and she thinks
It was like south of Douglasville or something like that.
and just on the outskirts of Chinatown. Smart of him, though surprising.
He's held up like a rat in a basement of a centrifuge center.
Doesn't surprise me either. I was more surprised to hear that he still lived and that he was still operating. Do you know what he was doing?
Saw a bunch of bodies cut up.
Sounds like him.
He was doing some kind of experimentation, was very clear.
I see. Did he ever tell you on what?
We assume thin bloods.
That would make the most sense. And he's dead then?
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
Well, at least whatever left over of Zach's mess was around is properly removed. The surprise of hearing that Malik was even still alive was enough, but once again, the four of you have proven yourselves worthy of the task. Well, except for, and then she looks to you. You, stranger, please stand before me. Name.
Alexander Crowley. At your service, Prince Bella.
Prince Bella, yes.
Sorry,
So
I'm
someone's
new
told
here,
you.
so still getting used to things.
I figured. What clan do you belong to, Mr. Crowley?
Well, newly named with Hakata.
New indeed. Well, were you part of this blood hunt, Mr. Crowley?
I was.
And when did you arrive in Chicago?
Right before we started doing the old blood hunt thing.
So then I'm imagining you were made aware at some point that Chicago was on lockdown and no kindred were to enter or leave.
Yes.
And yet you arrived anyway.
Well, I thought, you would probably want the bastard dead more than you'd want me just passing through.
Hmm.
And I'm good at what I do.
And what is it that you do?
What do I do these days? That's a difficult question. My line of work's been made a little bit obsolete. Find people, protect people, sometimes remove people.
I see.
I prefer the protecting people part, personally.
Well, Mr. Alexander Crowley of the clan Hakata, presenting themselves in the domain of Chicago before the prince. Any other circumstances, you would be killed outright. However, you have participated and successfully accomplished the deed of a blood hunt. And for that, laws are laws. And you are to be rewarded for such a task, all four of you. Mr. Crowley, do you have intentions of staying in Chicago?
I do.
Then from this point on, you will be recognized as a proper kindred of Chicago and welcome within our streets so long as you adhere to the 6 traditions. Should you break Camarilla law, the full extent of the law will be used as leverage and punishment. If you do not believe these 3, this coterie could give you long, detailed explanations as to how we ensure peace is kept here.
Don't worry. I believe you.
Good. I won't ask how long you've known Crowley. I'm afraid of the answer. And the 3 of you have done a good job. I wouldn't want to tarnish such a night. So, by law, you are to be rewarded. Was diablerie committed?
No.
No.
She looks back to the sheriff, Fetch, and he walks. A few minutes later, he walks in with a female. You do not smell mortal blood on her. She takes a moment, and you watch as she focuses heavily. She looks at each one of you. Time, each minutes pass every time. And then she looks. Truth.
When she looks at me, something should happen.
Are you, she's looking at auras. Is there something in your aura?
As soon as she looks at me, she gets a crippling headache, has to make a check, and
that's
her
fucking
resolve
right.
goes down to less than half.
Oh God. Just great.
Fuck.
What is this from? Remind me.
The
Type
first
it if you
curse.
want.
I will put it in our chat as well.
Yeah. Is that in the new one? Is that in the new book?
No, it's in VTM Core.
Because I'm looking for it and I don't see it in the index.
It's in the
but
back with the...
I just want to look at the rules. Oh, right.
There's like 3 things like chucked into that one.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, while you rules check, I got a bio.
Yeah. Yep. So they looked at each single one of them until they eventually look at Crowley. And when she looks at Crowley, it's instant. It's a wince. She steps back with one of her legs and she places her hand on her head. Her short red hair kind of falls behind her and her bangs fall in front of her face. And she just starts playing with her temples for a moment and steps. And Bella steps forward and turns her back to you and places her hands gently on the shoulders of the woman who was brought in. She places her finger under her chin to lift it up. Speak truth, nothing more. She shakes her head. I didn't see. They didn't commit the act, but there's something I don't understand. And she whips around to Crowley and simply stares at him. Explain yourself.
This sometimes does happen. I don't know the origin of it, but it does.
She stares at you for a while, and then she looks to the other 3. Were you aware?
I had no idea.
Dakota, do you say anything?
What since I was not here, can I get a brief recap of what exactly we're talking about?
She sent the sheriff to bring in a woman. The woman then looked at each one of you.
Right.
And then when she looked at Crowley, she stumbled back, huge headache, and couldn't explain what happened. And she looked to the 3 of you, the prince to the other 3, not Crowley, and said, "Do you understand?"
Oh. Yes. I answer honestly.
She meant more, do you understand why she got a headache when she looked at Crowley?
No.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean,
No.
the only
Don't.
guess it could
No,
make
you
we
have no
don't.
idea.
We don't. Okay, we
You do
don't.
not.
Okay, good. Then I say no.
And are you speaking truth to me, Mr. Crowley? It would be ill of you to try and pander lies.
I am, by dint of nature, a minor student of the occult. I have no fucking idea. Sorry.
She shakes her head. She and turns back to the woman who is still kind of reeling from the event. She whispers something to her, and the woman leaves. Diablerie was not committed, which was the question I asked. The next question I have is, what do you seek as reward for removing the thorn in the Camarilla side?
Well, I'll be the first to speak then. As this was, as you saw in my letter, my brother's mess.
It
That
certainly was.
myself and this lovely coterie cleaned up. It would be very, very... I would love it if perhaps you or one of the Primogen could put in a good word for me as I try to make my way back into the life of a rose. As things have been difficult since all of this happened, that is all I ask of, nothing more. I don't want anything more than that.
A simple good word from the prince amongst your Toreador kindred alike. Simple.
Thank you.
Oliver Hopkins. She
Step forward.
turns to you, and for the very first time, it's actually very difficult. Well, should I say, for the very first time, she very, very rarely pays much attention. She doesn't pay much attention to all of you very often. But there is no, just to be aware, there is no supernatural pull. You don't feel the power of presence tugging at you. She just looks at you and allows her own presence to be the mediation she needs. What does Ollie say?
Prince, I desire to obtain the legal means of acquiring more space around the Lights Out Tavern.
Permission to extend your domain
Yes, Prince.
beyond that of the building you reside.
I'll go through any of the legal means, and I will handle everything that I must with the Ventru.
If that is your request, you have my blessing. You will be granted rights of the block.
Thank you, Prince. I'll bow in.
Again, a
step
simple request. My Magnus Canis.
I asked nothing personally. I simply did my job.
I look at the prince and the sheriff directly
Mm.
behind her.
Noticing you doing such a thing, it is impressive that you were able to accomplish what you have. But the blood hunt is not any particular person's job.
The coterie, on the other hand, we have a request.
I see. And that request would be?
It has come to our attention. There is a man who calls himself the Baron. He has a piece of territory not far from Ollie's bar. He is squatting. We want to take it, claim it for the Camarilla and ourselves.
And to reestablish a haven for your coterie.
It would be ideal.
You understand that down there by Brighton Park is a rather dangerous zone. The Anarchs still aren't particularly thrilled that we scooped away that territory from them. Some of them still fight, this Baron that you speak of being one. I imagine.
Prince, if I may. A few weeks prior, the Lights Out pub was attacked by ghouls in front of mortal eyes, saying that he was to speak. He was speaking for the Baron of Brighton Park. The mess has since been cleaned, and I handled the breach This is a grave offense to me, to the Camarilla, and to the Masquerade, of which we uphold. I just wanted to bring this to your attention, as it is hard for us to see you personally.
Those years in venture territory have done you well, Mr. Hopkins. You speak like they do.
I adapt.
And that's why you're alive. Should you claim territory within the area, south, just by Brighton Park, beyond the 55, and you've been able to claim and hold it as your own, present yourselves to me, and a title will be granted. Beyond that, this is where the rewards will end. Mr. Crowley, welcome to Chicago. I can't say you found the worst coterie to spend your time with, but I can't say you found the best either. But if there's anything they're good at, it's certainly getting the job done one way or another.
Does Crowley get to make any requests?
If you would like to speak up, he may.
Okay.
She does not ask you.
May I make a couple of small requests?
Her gaze drags over.
As has been mentioned, I am new here. So, it would be quite helpful if I could put down a residence somewhere. Couch surfing is difficult. Furthermore, I have some assets I need to utilize. I was thinking of investing in a business or something. If that would be okay by your decree, I'll be most happy to do so.
A place to call your own. A haven. She thinks for a while. Do you have a place in mind?
A few ideas, my prince.
I see. Small. Fit for you, and nothing more. As for investing in a business, that's not my call. It depends on where you wish to invest. Deal with the local lords of the area there.
Thank you.
Anything else, Kindred? You have served the Camarilla well, and you've done us proud. Malik, removed from the picture, certainly cleans up the rather large mess that still rippled through Chicago. I imagine it's only a matter of time before the thin blood and caitiff problem comes under heel, and we quash it completely. For that, Chicago thanks you. You are all dismissed.
Thank you.
And you all leave. Where is it that the four of you would go? Back to the bar?
Back to the bar. That's what I.
Yeah, I assume. We got one ride, so.
Yep.
You eventually all get back there, and we can shift the scene a few hours, or an hour later or so, at the bar when you're all getting in. You all make your way to the back, away from the eyes of the crowd that are drinking and eating, and you kind of just left back there by yourselves.
As we get out of the vehicle, I wanted to. I'm gonna phone a Camille. I'm gonna blow that whistle.
Okay. You take
Yeah.
the bird.
Mhm.
Okay. You have the piece of paper. Do you write a note in it?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. And what happens is you realize it's a whistle. And so you blow on the whistle as hard as you can, and it has a piercing high noise. And actually, through the effort, you realize how fragile this thing is. And as you blow through it, the thing crumbles as it finishes and falls as like of ceramic by your feet. A few moments later, a pigeon comes flying up and lands at your feet, cooing. It has a small ribbon around its neck. You tie the letter to it, and almost instantaneously it takes off. You can let me know and Camille know what the note says.
I also would like to try to get a message out to Jackson.
Ah. Well, what would you like the message to be?
Same as Camille's. That
Okay.
I am trying to legally obtain the structures around. I'm
Mm.
acquiring.
Oh, okay.
the-
Yeah. I
the
see.
buildings
Yep.
around.
Absolutely. You can easily get the message out when they get back to you. Will be however long it takes.
I imagine when they find out that my domain is extending, they'll probably come knocking.
Mhm.
Jackson will.
Oh, somebody. Yeah, you can expect it certainly. But after all said and done, the four of you find yourselves together. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about now that the Prince meeting is done?
Well,
Good work, everyone.
Oh, damn, I forgot to tell her about the sandwich. Let me just go back. I turn around and I go to the door.
That's not even funny, Crowley.
It's a little bit funny.
I'm not laughing.
Okay. You're laughing a little bit.
they'll want to slap you a little bit.
Yeah.
I have that effect on people, don't worry.
Yeah. So what kind of business are you trying to invest in?
I'm not exactly sure yet. So you know when the old guy, Varney guy,
Yeah.
well, do you know their reputation?
No.
Okay. Financiers, money.
Okay.
Well, to bring him out to the open, we happen to steal all his assets.
Oh. All right.
So one of the reasons the van's running a little bit low is it's a little bit heavy right now.
Okay. So, what do you want to invest in? A business? What kind of asset? I mean, just spit it out. There's no one here but us.
I've just put 15 XP into having money 5. There's like half a ton of gold bullion in the bottom of his van.
What the?
So, what, you're like rich now or something?
I have no idea what to do with it.
Where did you, okay.
So, do you have an idea of what business you're planning to?
I was thinking some way of getting to meet people in the area so that I can actually get to know the local lay of the land. Which to me sounds like a club.
A club. I mean, we have a bar already.
Could we like sit on it
Ollie
for
has
a
a bar.
while? I mean, if we actually take this territory from the Baron, there's no saying that it's in good condition.
I mean, it's a park. I took the liberty of doing some investigative work, and
Oh,
I'll retrieve. I'll go downstairs and get the blueprint that I snatched. I grabbed this when I got the blueprint of Malik's building.
oh.
And laid out. There's only one building. It's a church.
Churches make great
Hmm.
clubs.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a park.
There's nothing wrong with a good park.
Yeah, the problem is typically parks are protected. Religious buildings have some affairs that they can do, but I'm pretty positive you can't have a nightclub in a protected park.
Yeah, the Camarillas got all these people all over layers of government. Few, greased wheels, palms.
You can try.
Okay. I mean, a church is a mood. We can't do anything about what's there. We've been given permission if we want to go get it.
Wait a minute.
Do we want to?
What about you want to invest in a business? Why don't you become like a night coroner or something, right? Like operate like a morgue of sorts or some shit.
Hey, that's
You
a
need
great
bodies.
idea.
Boom. Food.
Yeah, well, I could. But that just seems a little bit too close to living to keep living. I want something that gives me, like, living to feel alive. There's no point in living just to keep living. It's a waste of your time.
I wasn't just saying it. You don't technically have to run it yourself.
I could do.
At least it's worth considering.
There's dead bodies around all the time.
I found a bribable med school student who might be able to get me a few cadavers.
That's only going to last so long. You know that, right?
Med schools pump them out regularly.
Good luck.
Okay. So regardless of what we decide to do with this church, Daddy Warbucks here is ready, set to go to fund whatever we need, but it doesn't make a fucking difference until we claim it.
Claim the area, right. I guess that's the next thing to worry about here.
Right, okay, who's with me then? We're going tonight?
No.
Tonight?
No.
Okay.
No, it's probably not. Let's just relax. Some of the tension is already dropped.
Yes, I agree.
I get it, like you want to be alive, but like we dead. All right, let's just relax tonight. We can go out in a couple of days.
Okay, hopefully with some better brews than the last lot.
I'll up it. I promise. No more PBR.
Perfect.
You look like a Corona guy.
Corona will do. In a pinch.
We'll figure something out. In the meantime, that's our target. Who knows what else they built out there? But it's just a church.
The night seems to go by rather uneventfully. You celebrate with drinks and you feel the tension come down. However, a gentle knock at your door again, this time the back door, as you're in the back, jostles you.
It's pretty
That's
late,
Grant.
right?
It's like midnight 1.
All right, I'll move to the door and kind of pull the stopper out just a little bit. So as I open, if somebody tries to like bust in,
A woman with long, stark black hair stands on the other side in an elegant red dress. Someone you were supposed to meet 5 nights later.
Fuck, she's here now.
God, I almost forgot about her.
Ah, it's 5 minutes later. I forgot about that.
She
Feel like
peeks
you're,
through. Do I
like you're
have the
in a long
right
day.
place?
Who are you looking for?
A bar that is peaceful for people like me.
What do you mean people like you?
I don't know if I want to say it out loud.
Ollie, who the fuck is it?
I yell from a room down the hall.
I'm going to make a
I'm
memory check.
Oh, you're Oliver Hopkins. Then I definitely have the right place. Pleasure to meet you. The name's Rose. I believe we were supposed to meet tonight.
Hello, Rose. You could have came to the front door. You didn't have to.
I
go
wouldn't
through
want to
alley.
walk through all those people.
It's a much quieter night than you might think.
Good to know. May I? And she smiles.
Please.
She nods elegantly and steps through.
I shut the door behind
Crowley, you recognize her, obviously.
Hey,
Ava,
Rose.
you do not. She does not look familiar. Dakota doesn't look familiar to you either. She looks to each of you in the eye. She's maybe like 5'8", 5'9", rather tall, and just glides between all of you before looking around, kind of giving a disgusted look at the kitchen, and then remembering where she is and turns. Mr. Crowley, it is good to see you again, my friend.
Good
This
to
is
see you too,
them,
Rose.
then.
Yeah. Ava, Rose. Ollie, Rose. Dakota, Rose.
I believe we were expecting to meet. I don't know if he told you.
Or did
Oh, he did. So expecting it. Have a seat.
Happy to. And if you like gesture to a stool, she'll find it. She'll gently kind of like sit on it and she'll cross her legs. I was told you wished to meet me, so I decided to do you the favor. It's good to meet all of you.
Yes, you're the one who arranged for Crowley to...
I did. I actually gave him the opportunity to enter Chicago. I know, very bad girl.
And how is it exactly that you know of us?
Everybody knows of you, at least to some degree. I don't know much, I know you're the
But-
reason Bella sits on the throne, however.
And you thought it'd be a good idea for Crowley to join us.
It was an impulsive decision based on limited information. But the information seems to, at the very least, have held slightly true. And Crowley arrived in time. You're aware of what Crowley is, right?
Fully.
We're quite aware,
A
yes.
charming and capable young vampire.
Yeah. You calm down, low-hanging fruit.
Ah, well, we'll try.
So, Crowley was the only one.
Crowley was the only one.
Did you bring him in specifically to deal with Malik?
No. And she chuckles. No, but that was his key to staying if he succeeded. I gave him an opportunity.
So why did you bring him in?
A lot of things happened over in New York that I felt his talents would be very useful here.
I tend to agree.
Well, then there you go.
I'm interested to know, though, why you feel the responsibility.
Additionally, how you knew of his talents before he knew you even.
His bloodline is similar in some regards to my own, I guess. At least in where we pull some of our powers. I am, and she smiles, my apologies, I don't mean to keep it secret. I am of Clan La Sombra. And I am legally allowed in Chicago as well. Don't
You
worry.
are.
I am.
For not being super
And I
excited.
wouldn't. And she looks to you, Dakota, when you said, and I would appreciate it if you don't question. We all had to give up something very important for the Camarilla to accept us here.
Trust me, I understand that better than anyone. My question is, why you feel responsibility to bring bodies into the city to fix a problem?
You say responsibility. I don't see it as my own responsibility. Just good sense. Or curiosity. And she gestures to him in his regard, maybe.
Hey, you happen to know a Rudy?
She thinks for a moment, know the name, and I believe we've crossed paths a couple times here in Chicago.
He's a La Sombra as well.
Yes.
Just curious, making sure that you don't, happen to be best friends.
No. There's only a few of us here, and we're kind of kept separated from one another for the most part.
How many more?
By my count, last I checked, none of your business. You're asking a lot of questions. Now I know you were eager to meet me, and I'm happy to help tell you why I allowed Crowley within the city and all that good stuff. But I imagine you probably already know.
Well, according to him, he just drove in.
He did. I was there to meet him, and I ensured he got further into the city, of course.
We simply wanted to meet the person who brought in the new code, remember? Seemed important.
Well, here I am. As Crowley served well, and rumors are the blood hunt is over, was that the four of you?
It's not a rumor if it's true.
Certainly. Was it you, though?
Yeah, it was.
So then you'll be in Chicago for the foreseeable future.
Problem solved.
She smiles. You see, the La Sombra and the Hakata, maybe I've made myself clear. The La Sombra, there's a certain gift that the Deer Prince has outlawed in the city. It comes with our clan. It comes with his as well.
Ability to sense the abyss.
Or draw from
Chicago's got a big abyss hanging over its head.
I look at Crowley, like, stop fucking talking.
We literally talked about
Second.
this already.
it. Yes, this is not new for me.
Great. That's really fantastic. You seem pleasant and dedicated to solving the problem. We just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any, funny business around Crowley's arrival.
She looks curious. Are you talking of the blood hunt problem?
In general.
Oh.
We had, a kindred appear at our doorstep, willing to help. It was a little, at first, weird. So
I suggested
please.
he go meet the three of you. Again,
Well,
you have a reputation.
As long as it's just that, then that's fine. But you never know in kindred life. There's always something else going on behind the scenes. So it was nice to just be able to meet you face to face.
And you as well. All of you. Your reputation seems to at least precede you. Effective, is what I mean.
Is that a lie? Is that what she meant?
If you would like to roll a wit's insight.
I don't trust this bitch.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Is she lying too?
It's hard to tell. You don't know. You don't believe it one way or another, so Dakota may make her own assumptions, but it's not like Dakota doesn't think she's lying. She's just not sure. You all wanted to meet me. Was it simply just to ask how I got Crowley in? Because I'm sorry it was such a boring story.
They
Face
were
name.
curious.
Just wanted to get to know you a little bit. Our new La Sombra friends.
Oh, we're friends.
Of course,
wasn't
you brought
expecting that.
No.
you brought the lovely Crowley to our doorstep, so we just
He
had
is a
to-
lovely gentleman.
I'm in pain as Ava says these words.
Well, she stands up. If that was it, I could make better use of the rest of my night. So
I did have some
enjoy your
questions.
drinking hours.
What's the best part of Chicago you know? Where do you hang out? What's your
Ah,
circles?
my favorite place, and she says this with a smile, is she lists a bar saddled right up to next to the ivory tower, and she smiles at Ava when she says it.
Right.
Can't beat the company or the food. And she leaves.
Take that bet. I whisper under my breath as she walks away.
And she will leave if that's all. And she leaves you kind of just lingering.
I'll pop outside with her. I'll walk her out since it's my fault she was here.
Yeah, it's fine. You walk her out. She welcomes the company.
I'm sorry, they're a bit paranoid. Which is
And
fair
good
considering what
kindred
they've been
is?
through.
Sure. I genuinely don't judge them, Crowley. Don't worry. I don't
Good.
want you to think that I care much about who you keep as friends anyway.
Fair enough.
So he's gone.
He is.
And you've been accepted.
I am now officially a member of Chicago.
Welcome. Things have only just gotten started, though, Crowley.
Ain't they
I
always?
think you understand. But the event that happened in New York rocked the city for more than any of the kindred know. But with Malik out of the way, that certainly removes an obstacle for our next moves.
Which are?
Make sure the camera stays exactly where it is. Rooted in
enough.
Chicago completely.
Well, seems like one of the last cities where the Chicago actually is as stable as it is. Every other camera city seems to be a little bit teetering these days.
It is because of that coterie this one does not. And hopefully it continues to be because of them that it doesn't move. She places her gingerly her hand under your cheek, or brushing your cheek. The shadow of the mother keeps Chicago safe. Let's keep it that way.
Well, provided it stays in Chinatown, doesn't, take over the entire city, because that might be a bit difficult.
She just kind of gives you like a tilted head smirk. This will be fine. Go back to your friends, Crowley.
Fair enough. Thanks, Rose.
Thank you, Crowley. And she walks off. Walks down an alleyway. If you even just watch, eventually she dips into a shadow and You lose sight of her completely.
I don't. I expect her to do that by now.
And you make your way back. You were gone for like 5 minutes. The four of you are in the bar. Anything you'd like to discuss now?
Jesus, Crowley, you sure know how to find friends.
Yeah,
Hey.
Alessandra?
She found me.
You sound so calm about this.
What, am I meant to, worry because she's a La Sombra? I'm her cutter.
No, you should.
She's
know what?
definitely up to something.
If you're not worried, I'm not worried, Crowley.
Everyone is up to something.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you can't trust that bitch as far as you can throw her.
I don't trust that bitch anyway. Don't worry about it.
You trusted her to get you in.
No, all I did was go, right, I need to go somewhere. Chicago seems nice. They've got a blood hunt. And then, oh, hello, we need your help over here. We'll happily give you, a place to stay. Fine. Our interests were aligned. People's interests are aligned with yours. They're probably going to do right by you. It's when
Does she
they're
know?
not aligned where you've got problems.
She know about the problem. I'm to Chicago. Chinatown.
Well, turns out that everyone does on my side of the fence.
Seem to
right.
have an
Well,
idea.
right. Everybody else knew it before you, right?
Well, everyone can sense what the hell is going on. Whether they know what it is a different matter.
So,
So,
She implies that she knows. She implies that the Giovanni knows.
just to double check, fact check here.
Mhm.
We know that Sybil is La Sombra, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And she said that she was La Sombra.
Mhm.
So
And
back
she
in
said previously to Crowley, which Crowley got allowed to relay to the group, that she mentioned knowing about the mother who sleeps under the city, and she also
Right.
mentioned that the Giovanni already knew as well.
And you could Crowley would likely just be able, if he was to take a guess, it's because they both brush the abyss.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, that
Yeah,
you both have
there's an
oblivion.
awareness. Yeah, okay.
Serious enough, because I know how clans seem to operate to a degree. The Nas are very tight knit, they're close, and a lot of the older Nas believe that you should take care of the family. It's clan before pretty much all else.
Right.
How does that work with La Sombra?
They are shattered. Most of them are in the Sabbat. Many of them have come out of the Sabbat. There are tales about how you get accepted into Chicago. I don't know what they are, but it seems
It's
to be
basically
individuals.
the general run-of-the-mill information that the coterie already knows, stuff that was made clear early on in the season. Crowley knows just about the basics of that as well.
So it's because of Sybil. It's because of this La Sombra that's under Chicago that the La Sombra are even allowed back. So why would she want to go out of her way to do anything about that?
Well, as far as she says, she's all for supporting the Camarilla and stuff. So, doesn't seem to want to do anything about it at all.
Yeah, well, Sybil and the Prince have been in charge of the Camarilla the last decade. 13 years, even by my account. So, things are looking at least okay, unless there's something else at play, which obviously we believe that there is.
If there is something else at play, here's the fun part. It's not our fucking problem. Someone else's problem.
Agreed. I just want to keep my nose fucking clean for a while.
There's only so much shit you can deal with in life. Deal with the shit that's in front of you, and then keep dealing with the shit that's beyond that. Motto for life. She
Alright.
wants to go do her own thing. She's more than welcome.
Okay, so now that we've met her, what's she want to do next? She trying to hang out, get drinks at this fancy bar down in next to the Ivory Tower?
Pretty much her entire point for bringing me in, as far as I can tell, was maybe some use in future for someone who has similar skill set, and she wanted someone to confirm what she already knew.
Ava, you know the bar?
I do. Don't really go there anymore.
You know what? I'm going to take this one as a win. We know her, of her. We know what she's capable of. We know that for some fucking reason, she feels like it's her job to move no kindred into this city, but
That'll
Well,
come back on the ass in time.
prerogative that is hers to simmer on. But if she is La Sombra and Sybil is La Sombra.
Wonder how much that bar costs.
I wouldn't.
Dakota
even-
says that, look, it's not going to burn a hole in the bottom of your van. We just need to find a place to store it and wait for the right thing, Crowley.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend all your money the day after Christmas.
I can't even begin to spend that much money.
Before the sun comes up, now that the Malik thing is out of the way, I need to remind you that there is someone sitting in Chicago, in Chinatown, the Triad Lieutenant, Red Pole.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got 2 weeks to clean that mess up.
What is exactly you promised? That we would bring his finger?
Said if we got a finger and we, muffed him up a little bit, that'd be fine, but it would be more valuable to them, and it would cast a little more favor on my side if we dropped his body, per se, right at the corner of Douglasville in the Russian territory.
Is it in Chinatown?
So we're just supposed to start a gang war?
Yeah, but we can be clean of it. No trace back to us.
He is
We
a
leave a
people
body.
smuggler and sex trafficker. I would
Hey,
be
I'm not
happy
saying
to.
the asshole doesn't deserve to die. I'm more than happy to put
The
an
info-
end to that.
the
I
info
just
that I
want us to
read-
be careful.
The info that my lead left us was that since the cocaine trade has gone down, he has been sitting pretty in Chinatown. He's not left in most of a year. So in order for us to draw him out, we're going to have to make a really sweet deal for him.
Like, I got a
Great.
loose end I need to tie up with a pig, we'll call him. He may know something more about him being holed up in Chinatown. Something that could be useful.
Well,
Way to draw him out, maybe.
do some digging then and see what we can find out.
So the loose plan here is we try to draw him out, offering some sort of deal, and then we take his finger. Are we killing him or are we not killing him? What was the conclusion on that one?
If we can get
If we
hold of
can get
him,
it, bare
might as well
minimum.
kill him.
Bare minimum.
And if we can take him out, that's going to put a big stop in some of his machinations, his dealings.
How far into
Yep.
Chinatown is his place?
I don't know.
This is
Didn't
Like you
really get a
said.
good lead on him, because if they knew where he was, they probably would have sent someone in to deal with him already.
I have a feeling the
Right.
cops might, but they don't want to scare him off.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot to discuss, and the coterie has a lot to plan over the next course of many nights, but the rest of this night is not enough time to do too much beyond enjoy your drinks and revel in a job well done. The prince hasn't killed any of you. She granted you rewards. And Rose, whether you trust her or not, seemed to be pretty straightforward. We'll leave the coterie here, celebrating a job well done, with many, many different steps to be there next. We'll just see which one they take next week. And we'll return. The end. For today.
Woo.
Today's end.
For
Yeah.
today.
Good job. Good job.
We didn't fuck it up too bad, gang.
Yeah.
Woo.
Made it out.
It's a success all the way around, I think.
We did it and had a great conversation with the prince. Good job, everybody.
Yeah. I didn't mention any things I wasn't meant to.
Yeah, it went as smoothly as it could, even with the little hiccup.
I was
Thanks-
debating
thanks,
warning
Crowley.
her beforehand, and I was like, I shouldn't warn her beforehand because she'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
Proud of you. I'm new here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to at least a few more times for posterity. Okay, so reminder, we've got a whole load of stuff coming on the Patreon this week. There's Monster Hearts going to be happening in a couple of weeks' time on the 22nd of March for a short campaign. River Valley High, so look out for that. GM'd by Lauren. And beyond that, I'm going to go check out if we had any tips today. So let's start off with our storyteller, Maths Games. Who are you, what are you, and where we find you until next week?
You can find me at Mathis Games everywhere. So check it out on Twitch. Check it out on my YouTube. You can also find me on Chilluminati Podcast. Also, thank you for the 20 gifted subs, Phelan. Of
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's Phelan. Phelan is a sweetheart. Phelan
Thank
has
you.
been
Hey,
around for a
Phelan.
long time. Thank you, Phelan. And you can find me at Chilluminati Podcast. We just dropped a new podcast last night with a big announcement. So go check it out. Go listen. We're trying to push Chilluminati to the next step. So help us get there. That's where you can find me. The end.
Okay. What about Ava Heloise?
Hello, everybody. You can find me on the internet as Miss Magitech. I stream sometimes. I make some YouTube videos. I talk a lot about my favorite RPGs and stuff like that. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, have conversation, I'm happy to talk about it with all of you. But other than that, yeah, that's me. I'll see you guys next Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Dakota Rain, Little Red Dot?
I'm a Little Red Dot. That you can find me under that name pretty much anywhere, doing things, rolling dice, telling stories, hanging out with these amazing people. That's all I have. That's it.
Okay.
That's who I am.
The Bubbernaut, Ollie.
What up? It's your boy, the Bubbernot, out here trying to make sure that Chicago doesn't burn down around us.
Preach. Preach.
Trying.
Trying to. But you guys can find me all over the internet as the Bubbernot. Come find me. I do things, play games, tell stories, all that jazz. But that's me. How about you, E?
Hi, I'm Andrew Elysium. You can find me over at youtube.com/Andrew Elysium, where I'm finally releasing videos again after being ill. I'm playing Anarchist Spain in Hearts Fine, and it's going okay. There's a thing going to be happening in a few episodes where that's going to be scary. That's not planned, and I have to deal with it. And also, there's a thing coming, I think, Tuesday that you should look out for, so stay tuned for that. Also, I've got a new RPG starting on Tuesday night, 6 p.m. UK time, wherever that is, wherever you will be, which is Chaos Lost. It's a 40k RPG show where we're playing Chaos Peoples, and it's going to go terribly. It's all going to be chaos. Anyway, also reminder everyone that Daylight Savings Time stuff kicks in tonight, which means that America will be, I think, let me just double check for you.
We lose an hour.
Yep.
Yeah,
Rip.
we lose one.
1 hour
Loses an
less
hour,
sleep
okay.
tonight, everybody. Feels bad.
So it will be 11 a.m. for California tomorrow for our show, not 10. So please bear that in mind until the clock switches back, because we're pegged to UK time. That for America and a few portions of the world that actually uses the American time shift, there will be a slight discrepancy. There'll be details about it on our social media and stuff, and in our Discord that you can check out. That said, there were no tips, so we're going to go do an after show, which you can find on the Patreon. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, let dice roll over in your favor.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.